No, probably not, Sharif. And I talk about the cooling of the trade. I mean, it can go on for a couple more years, but it's not going to continue to grow at the same pace that it's been at. You'll have it come in waves, right? It's hot, it's cooling down, it's hot, it's cooling down. And sure enough, here with Oracle, you're down 56%. Like, this was unnecessary, if you ask me. This massive gap up from $242 all the way up to $342 in a span of 1 day. And then you give back the majority of that. The stock has been cut in more than half in the past. Again, it's tough to look. 146 days. 100 bars, so a lot going on there. It's not a good look in Oracle. The demand, by the time they get all this infrastructure built out, it may not be there, but they need to do it because they have obligations. It is now 2 o'clock. It's past 2 o'clock, but what we will do, Sharif, before we turn it off to the big boys, is a quick trade review. We're still short SLV, guys. We take the first initial loss, we move lower, and we're still holding on to a small piece. Traded 3 names today. We'll head over to our next loser, and that is going to be PLTR. Didn't get a winning trade on this one. That's okay. We get a 1 loss and a 1 break even. And then we go over to PYPL. Not too bad. PYPL. And there it is. We go 1 for 2 once again. So we take 3 full losses on the trading day, 2 full ones, and one break even, putting us green on the session. It doesn't matter. We held on to those winners a little bit longer, so not too bad of a play so far. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. A little bit of coffee money, but green is good, and I would rather that than be red.
Appreciate you, bro. All right, everybody, big boys, they're ready to go. They're that way. See you soon.
Yo, Joe. Yeah, it's good. It's always better to be green than red, but it's always better to be up than down in the market. I feel like more people generally longer than shorter. I just put a bid in.
It was Big Spile.
Big Spile, I think, has been big bankrupt for a while. I haven't heard that guy in a while.
He missed his moment.
Oh, he's probably blown out.
Moment.
Yeah, he's on a hiatus or something. All right, so yeah, look, I just tweeted it out, man. Like, wish we were still short. I still do have a piece on, actually. I should hear. You know what? Check out this trade that's going to show up in a second. SMR short. But, you know, we did have this short. We still have a small piece. But, wow, man, like, to have been able to hold on to that one, I got to do a better job right there. We do have a new trade as well. It's a money trade. It's SMR. Do that money dance right now as that's getting to the downside. We tried the long. Then we flipped over to the short. There goes SMR downside. And then we still got this Apple long situation where, unfortunately, we're at the gym. I didn't reload it there. That would have been a great one at 268. But, you know, Apple right now trying to do its best to get going and hold this market up. Yeah, right. I never thought the market would be down. Honestly, 2.3% and Apple would be up, but that is the case. The other big name here that we're worried about obviously would be Microsoft as well. I mean, if you're talking about like Microsoft being down, Apple being down, whatever is up or down here, Microsoft a big part of the index as well. So that's down 3%. So that's actually down worse. A lot of these names are just continuously getting hit here. So a little bit of a violent day, needless to say, here in the market. But I don't know, man. What I said was I just DCA'd.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, and Bitcoin. Good call on that one.
Bitcoin is.
I bought some more SPY just right now in my account. So just going to wait to see if, you know, where this goes. DCA time. I haven't done anything all year, and this might be a move to.
TFSA money.
Yeah, no. Well, this is in the long term.
You're talking about RRSP.
Yeah, RRSP. Yeah, I don't buy too many indexes in TFSA. But
RRSP in Canada is like your 401k, and then TFSA is kind of like your it's a Roth.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever the tax-free.
Yeah, the tax-free account here. So like usually like swing trades, that kind of a thing. But yeah, you said like to still be short. I mean, sometimes it'd be like this. Bitcoin has broken. This is not a perfect support line because it's at like 73, like whatever. Like I kind of just drew it on this chart, and then you see it pop over. And now your failure is complete. Like it's come full circle back into where we broke out from in October of 2024. So it's taken a year and a half. Actually, no. Look, we already came back to this level and bounced, made a fresh high, but it's taken a while to get back into this bottom. And if we lose here, I think that's when it gets frisky. Like everyone. I haven't even had another line drawn, but if you were to draw another line, underneath there's no support until, I mean, theoretical on Bitcoin or 50,000. Like there's always like magical theoretical levels where you might just catch a bid, but there isn't really anything until the 50,000 level. All that being said, I've traded, I think, 6 stocks today, and the only one that I'm red on is a Bitcoin short. Who knew? Who knew? That's all I got to say. Because I got stopped out right here on BTC. I went over to SLV, or actually I went to ZSL instead, and it worked out to go long ZSL, which I'm still not in because I felt like that was going to curl. And yeah, so silver heading to the downside. That's the interesting thing about this move down is you're not getting a flight to safety in the metals here. Like silver trending down for most of the day. You've got gold not falling apart. I mean, gold's still up. You're up 5%, but you've been trending down since about the midday, call it 11:30. So there was a point at which the sell-off in the market was at least garnering you some gains back in gold and silver, but now that's gone, and they're all everything is sort of heading to the downside. And that isn't what we look at earlier this morning. Like things like Walmart are strong, Target, Procter and Gamble, Pepsi had an earnings report, and they're up 3.5%. Certainly not Novo Nordisk. Novo coming out with some early numbers before their report, which is usually not a good thing, especially if they're bad, because like you come out with them early because hey, if we get them out of the way, then maybe we can get the worst of it before the report and then hopefully talk people into why this isn't a bad thing. If they end up delaying their earnings after this, that's what SMCI did a while back. That would be very bad. If Novo doesn't report this week, and all we get is these preliminary numbers.
What day are they supposed to report?
I think they're Wednesday.
They're going to report then.
Yeah, well, I would suspect.
Tomorrow?
It's only because SMCI had this very similar situation a while back where they came out with some early numbers. Next thing you know, that's all you got, and then you didn't get a filing from them. And we all know the rest is history. Things got really bad for SMCI. Speaking of which, SMCI reports tonight after the bell. Stick around. It's SMCI. It's AMD. I mean, those are the two big ones that I think most people are going to care about after the market. There's probably something else that I'm not thinking of that's reporting, but that's what we're going to cover. I was going to say, I'm sure I'm missing something.
Yeah,
it's Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle, Amgen, Enphase.
Enphase, there's more.
Yeah, there'll be a few here. Join us tonight, and we'll go over all of these there tonight. And then tomorrow, wow, like Uber's getting killed. Well, every name's getting killed here, but Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk coming out today. Eli Lilly took down the $1,000 mark, so that's underneath $1,000, or at least it was the last time I checked. Right there, AMD, Supermicro, Chipotle, Enphase, Amgen, and Lumen Technologies hit it tonight. Tomorrow night, big baddest of them all, the wolf of Wall Street, Alphabet, reporting tomorrow. And I feel Qualcomm and Snapchat, I'm not really liking those names right now. ARM, I haven't liked that in a minute, but I know ARM's been okay. ELF, I still think the cosmetic section. What's up, Randy? Randy uses ELF products for sure. Randy's here telling us about XOM. Roblox and Affirm, some names here. We saw, by the way, this morning, it was kind of an easy trade that I wind up missing, but that break of PayPal at 42, whatever it was, it finally happened, and it's right back to where it was, but PayPal was down 20% at one point today ahead of earnings for with Affirm, so watch out. Let me just check out. I'm going to go to Neil 1 second. I just want to see what Affirm's doing so I don't forget to check it. So down to $60, down another 3%, man. We're going to go over a bunch of different names today, but pretty much if your name is high and up today, then you've got yourself a pretty good stock on your hands. So the market has been getting hit, broadly. Financials have been okay, but other than that, it's a pretty big bleed here today.
And if you want to have a look at what might be relatively strong, relatively weak, or just go way back into long-term charts and find good levels using many indicators, eSignal is going to be for you. You can scan the QR code you see in front of you for more information. You can link up to a professional charting platform that is intuitive, easy to use. It's also entitlement-based, so that you can add and subtract what you want, what you don't want. If you don't want to see if you only want to see Nasdaq, you don't care about anything else, well, you can entitle yourself for that. If you want to see futures, you can do that or not. You can look at level 1, level 2, whatever market depth you choose. And we also have tick replay, which is available, so you can look at individual moments in time and replay them to see how execution worked, maybe find yourself better ins and outs. So it's a great platform. We've been using it for a very long time, and I want to shout out to eSignal for sponsoring this hour of the show. I happen to have PayPal up, breaking through, well, let's just say levels that we haven't seen since 2017 for PayPal. And it's not the only one. Thank you to the chat for pointing out, putting on the radar that C3AI broke some all-time lows as well this morning. And what was crazy is, we're going to get to the rundown in a second. It was literally last week. I remember hearing some rumor that C3AI, it's like, oh, somebody might be interested in buying them. That headline.
For pennies on the dollar?
No, but literally that headline, I forget exactly what day it was, but I do, I'm pretty sure it was this day, like the 28th. Like it spiked through VWAP, or not VWAP, the 50-period moving average. So it would be, yeah, I think it's that 28th. And that would be this day, gapped up, gave the move back, and has been falling for 4 days in a row, and now just hit an all-time low. So whoever trumped that one up there, there's no need to buy them if you can just wait for them to get to zero.
Here we go, super chat time. Congratulations to Wall Street Wiki right here. He got his $100,000 account funded. That's
holla. Oh,
I ain't done reading that, Andre. Fabian.
That wasn't fake.
Andre said it wasn't him, so I'm just yelling out random names. Sia.
Wasn't. Yeah.
Watching has helped refine my strategy, and as a Torontonian, this is why I can't, I got that back up there. I actually pre-read this. I love the Toronto sports banter. Well, you are welcome. And the Maple Leafs, Joey Hader, over there, now have won 2 in a row. The Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 in a row. Joe, second last in the division, that's right.
Part of being a fan,
nothing worse than hopping off and on.
Part of being a fan is understanding that you have got to take the bad with the good.
Yeah,
you don't get the.
Try and tell it to Joey.
No, like you don't get the heights, and it's not. It doesn't feel the same if you hop on and off the bandwagon. I'll tell you right now, like if the Bills ever win, win it all or go to the Super Bowl, the fact that you've had to be through all the disappointment.
It's like the Blue Jays.
It feels different. That's what made this year so special for the Jays getting into the World Series. It's like you had the highs in 2017, the last time PayPal. It's like 2017 keeps coming
the Jays haven't won since '93, man.
And we have
our audience wasn't even born.
92, 93. As I'm saying, it matters. It's the journey.
Yeah.
It's the growth.
It is.
That's what it's all about. You cannot feel great without feeling pain. Don't slap any fail on that, Joe. It's just true.
Ouch, Joe.
I don't care what anyone says, man. And that's why this city is going to go ham eventually when the Leafs win a cup, because there's a lot of people who haven't jumped off the bandwagon. So hopefully you jumped off the bandwagon of the market at some point.
The Leafs haven't won a cup in like 68 years or something like that. So
we weren't alive.
There is some pent-up demand for that. The Leafs last won the cup on Randy's birthday, so we're really happy for that one.
I don't even know when your birthday is, Randy.
All right, back over to Randy's right here, by the way. So back over to the desk. Definitely these two not born the last time the Maple Leafs.
When is Randy's birthday?
Randy's birthday, I think it's September 18th, 1920. No, 1940. Oh man, this guy's too much. Hey, he doesn't look a day over 45.
No.
So shout out to Randy. I'm going to say he's probably about 46, 47
years
old, right there. Well, he has more hair than me, so that's for sure. Okay, he's not a trader. I think that's probably why. Back over to the desk. Let's get this rundown from Sia and Sharif.
Market's bouncing. Welcome to the afternoon rundown, everyone. The show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys locked and loaded. Sia's with me, and we're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers, yes, on this here show, the afternoon rundown, is to get into the chat. You got to vote for your favorite tickers every day, but make sure to throw in that $sign before you vote. Guys, government shutdown could be ending. U.S. House passes funding bill to end government shutdown, sends it to President Trump's desk for signing. We're about $3.50 off the low on the Qs. Let's start with the Qs. Assassino down 2% still, but off the lows as the market looks to recover here. We'll have to see if this has the buoying effect to take us back at least, maybe back to yesterday's close. So the Qs down 2%, the SPY down 1 1/3, the Dow down 0.89, and the IWM Russell 2000 ETF down 0.96. So it is very much a tech heavy sell-off as the Qs markedly lower than all the other major averages. Let's start with the first ticker, though, as decided by you. PLTR reports a fantastic earnings report yesterday. Commercial revenue, Sia, whether it's international commercial, U.S. commercial, seems to be growing quite aggressively.
It does seem to be going. So here's how the company did versus the LSEG estimates. Earnings per share, 25 cents adjusted versus the 23 cents that was expected. And revenue, $1.41 billion to the $1.33 billion that was expected. Also, PLTR's revenue grew 70% from $827.5 million in the year-ago period. And CEO Alex Karp also called the earnings indisputably the best results that I'm aware of in tech in the last decade during an interview with CNBC.
This was a fantastic report, guys. I think you guys can all agree. What's your look on Palantir at the moment?
Well,
Sell.
It was a fantastic report, and so a lot of things have been fantastic reports. And unfortunately, it was a sell the news event from the jump. And we kind of, I don't know, I'm slapping the fail on it only for one reason, because we knew 161 was a thing, at least last night. And join us tonight for AMD and SMCI, and Chipotle is the other one. Apologies for constantly forgetting them. But in the aftermarket show, you could see the resistance at 161. And it was, I don't want to say it's obvious, but I mean, everyone can look at the same chart. And if you were watching the tape when it was getting in there, it couldn't seem to burst through. We gapped above it, and the very first candle, I know my plan of action was to fade false break. That didn't happen. It just immediately went down. But it did bounce 161, get to VWAP, and then plunge through the low. The only reason I'm mad is that same trade setup is exactly what the short was on Intel, and I didn't take it on Palantir. All that being said, this is just the whole, probably the PE starting to matter a little bit here. Why doesn't the PE matter to Intel, everybody? I'm just going to whisper that every single time we talk about PE and Palantir. I'm like, why are we not talking about it with Intel and AMD? Who knows? But we are here, and we're back going to close underneath the 200-period moving average. So at least for today, and well, tomorrow as well, that 161, I don't see us getting there in the afternoon. Based on that, there's this high at 159.8, or just even like a VWAP retracement trade. But I think we should suss out how this news with the government shutdown is going to affect the afternoon, because everything was cruising to the downside. As a matter of fact, I actually canceled an Intel order when that news hit just now, because I don't know that I would want to grab a short right after they announced that they got the funding deal done. At least I didn't hear it, but that's what we were saying.
Yeah, I'm just going to send this through here because you talked about the TQQs, and I think this is a valid point, so thank you, Tech Lion. Yeah, this was obviously a monster trade, right? But as we said, we're trying to keep the momentum up from, the last couple of days trading, make sure that if we do have some profits in, we take them. So we just had, obviously, a bigger position. We got them out all the way down in, and each one of these outs is like, 30 shares, 40 shares. Like, they're really stupid, the amounts of shares that they get out, but for some reason I got to change that system around here and do a little bit, better lots arrangement there. We just covered it on that news, though, of government shutdown. So, or the reopen of the government. But anyways, we already talked about it. So, yeah, with a stop order. So the only thing that I'm thinking about here is trailing this 50-period moving average. So I think we'll try this again tomorrow, or, the next time we see a similar setup to today in the TQs. Then we will do that, right? Like, I think you could have done a similar trade there on Bitcoin when it broke through the levels. So there's always different things that you can do at all times. But yeah, for me, I'm trying to get a little bit better and work around, holding this for a little bit longer. So, thank you. It's much appreciated, the acknowledgement there. But at the end of the day, and then look, it's a monster trade, but could have been a lot bigger, and let alone where we are going right now. So, Palantir, great stock. I sold some on the 161 break this morning, as we said. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be the right decision or not, but sell a little bit there on that 161 break back down through. So now we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with Palantir. I still very, very heavy into the stock, man. So it's not, definitely haven't given up my faith on this. This has been like a big, big portfolio, just like almost like a black swan for me, being long, in the teens of this name and having it run this way. It's just, it's been a pretty good trade. I mean, there's been obviously better trades with SNDK and things like that over the last little while. SNDK right there. So there's been difference. Yeah, it's not Sundial. There's been Sundial the other way if you had the short.
Oh, that's
maybe.
over $1.
But yeah, anyways, these names continue to climb higher. Oh, we just got stopped out. I should have. Whatever. This one again, like there goes SMR right back up to the upside. So again, like this government has shut down news, has sort of re-sparked the bids a little bit here. So Apple, by the way, I don't know if we're going to get to this, Sharif. This is $4 in the money on our trade of the day for Apple. So we still have a piece on. I think we're going to get a little bit out right now as we're right back up to those highs again. But there goes Apple. Actually, probably one of the best. Well, for me, this and the TQs were the same, but we did better on our position sizing here with Apple. Let's go back over the desk.
Reading something here about Tesla coming in latest here from Sawyer. This guy, he follows Sawyer Merritt. He says, Tesla plans to warn the Senate Commerce Committee tomorrow that China will be the dominant manufacturer of transport for the 21st century if the United States does not modernize regulations for self-driving cars. Yeah, he's trying to push, obviously, that FSD. Tesla was down more than it is right now, 413.69 low, back up to almost 418, now a little bit less than 1%. We obviously know the tie-up between XAI and SpaceX, so Elon Musk adjacent. Separately, Sia, though, we have that new Model Y all-wheel drive. That's a nice low price here. What can you tell us?
Nothing about the Model Y, unfortunately, but Tesla, as we know it, is also preparing to start production for Optimus, the robot, by the end of this year. And it's developing Optimus as we know it with the aim of it someday selling as an all-can-do robot, basically capable of everything from factory jobs to babysitting.
I want to buy one.
You do?
Yes.
Oh my God.
As
soon as I read this, I was like, Terminator.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I thought about The Matrix.
Have you seen that movie iRobot?
Yes.
With Will Smith?
Will Smith. I know. It's you know, all those movies are kind of coming alive, and I really hope they don't reach the ending of the movie.
No, I don't want the ending, definitely. Yep. But to talk about the Model Y, guys, the all-wheel drive coming in at 41,990, a little bit less than 300-mile range, 294. You're also going to get 30-day FSD trial. It's really focused here on the northern states, all-wheel drive, Model Y, Tesla down over 1%.
We don't have to worry about Optimus robots the way that you would about iRobot in the movie. Why? Because Elon Musk is a proper nerd, meaning he's read a lot of science fiction. Grok, which when he got the name Grok literally from a science fiction novel, and it was a word made up by Martians in a book. And only sci-fi nerds would know that. So I think he understands the 3 laws of robotics and hopefully would make sure they don't enslave us or, you know, do all those bad things that would happen. No, I mean, all 3 laws of robotics. But that being said, if we're just going to Tesla here for a second, triple bottom, anybody? That's what it looks like. It's not exactly 420, but it's adjacent to the 420 within the $5 range. So for Tesla, that's 1%. But this is a triple bottom on the 15-minute here for Tesla. And I would think, there's our triple bottom. The next step would be to somewhat break this downtrend, which would have to get us above 440. So there's a ways to go before you're celebrating post-earnings. It does feel like this move off the futures is starting to make the longs look a little bit better here. Yeah, if we get above 418, I think this has a chance to at least fill in some of the gap. But as far as Tesla goes, I think it would be great for shareholders if this whole XAI, SpaceX new combination plays itself out in a merge with Tesla. Obviously, I mean, Tesla owns a piece of both companies, but it's not going to be that big of a deal relative to if they did a big combination. So I think keep your ears to the ground for that, because I think that would be a pretty positive catalyst. People might jump from other ways to be playing SpaceX in the pre-IPO launch or in the private markets if they can then buy a little bit of Tesla and then get exposure to that. I think it'd be a good thing. I would have hoped to hear something like that more along those lines in the call from Elon, but he didn't hint at it. So I guess we'll have to wait for further updates. It's still great that there's going to be an IPO this year. I just personally would think it'd be cooler if they just combine the companies, but that's being selfish as a Tesla shareholder.
Yeah, I think breaking that 420 there was definitely the opportunity. that we all had to get short today. And it's just, you know, obviously cherry picking the top would have been nice. That's tough to do. But that break right there of 420 was pretty cash, right? I mean, the market was bailing. This stock had a chance to hold. It does hold right there, 420.07, which gives you even more of a reason to go short once it breaks. It makes a move back up about $2 or so. And then once it breaks it, it's basically done. And that's it, right? So there's the break, and here's the move down. Tesla continues lower. I still really, really like the stock. This and Google are probably the only Mag 7 names that I'm going to be buying on dips for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I really like Tesla. I like what they're doing. I love that Model Y talk there. Sia was talking about it in the midday about all-wheel drive and everything like that. So I like Tesla. I like the move, and yeah, it's just a name that's going to have to weather the storm a bit. So let's just keep the positive talk about Tesla. But hey, if you're negative on it, I don't see a reason to get out of your short. You know, I mean, you've now broken below. You're trying to break into this $400 mark, which we probably get to. I mean, one negative story tomorrow, and this thing probably hits 4 bills. 380s right there as well. So this name looks like it's getting a lot worse before it's going to get better. It's funny because we were just a month away from all-time highs. You know, like a month ago, Tesla was at all-time highs, and now we're talking about what the hell's wrong with this thing. So, you know, what a difference a couple days make or a couple weeks make here on TSLA. Just, you know, keep your head high here. And I like the stock, but it does look like it's breaking down. It's like everybody that said, you know, Bitcoin was going lower. Did anybody actually sell it, or are we all holding it, right? So that's the kind of thing that I think about for Tesla. Even though it's going lower, I'm not actually going to sell any of my shares, right? And so... but anyways, Bitcoin bounced nicely off 73,000. Hopefully that can eventually catch a bid. Okay, next stock. I mean, maybe at some point we'll talk about silver, but I have no idea.
We are, Sean. This is silver right here, up 5%, but rejected that $80 level. Generally, 80.72 high. Precious metals, according to this article, trading higher. Amid strength in gold and silver, the sector was reversing the prior session. So we're talking about Friday's sell-off, obviously, after Fed chair nomination. Kevin Warsh sent the commodities a little bit lower. Sia, we were up 5% yesterday, another 5% today, but below 80.
Honestly, that's about it. Everything that we reported on before the sell-off. Nothing more else to comment.
All right, guys. Silver certainly off that $70 double bottom that we put in yesterday, but still below 80.
All right, I mean,
way below 80. I had one trade. I didn't trade the trend break on silver because I traded on ZSL. But like I said earlier, or when we started the afternoon show, there was a point this morning where, okay, you had the Nasdaq falling and you had silver and the metals going to the upside and doing so in a pretty standard fashion. It looked like a top end break. It was above $80. All of that good stuff happened. And then we completely reversed it at about 11.45 and have been falling ever since. And that's where the volatility picked up. And one of the things I've been saying about SLV or just silver in general, there have been really good trend break trades. Almost every single day, there's some kind of a higher time frame trend break where it's just going one way, whether it's 3-minute or 15-minute, and then it breaks the trend, and then you get in one time. ZSL, at that same moment, kind of broke out at the $2. It happened to be $2. Sometimes it's just how it is. It didn't really, there's nothing significant about $2 on ZSL. The even dollars are meaningless on this stock because it's essentially just going to be following silver, so it shouldn't matter whether it's at an even dollar. But it was at $2 that it broke out. I played this into, I guess this would be Friday's close level, which was 2.25. And when I saw it fail that, I just hopped out of the trade. It almost feels like we're getting a reverse here, because if I were to draw up here, since that breakout, here's your higher lows, and we're breaking trend again to the downside. That said, I mean, you would just go long SLV. There'd be no point trying to pay for locates to go short ZSL here. You just go long SLV if we confirm this trend break. But the volatility remains. That's the one thing about silver and gold to a certain extent, but probably to a bigger extent silver. Right now, they are a trading vehicle up at these prices. I feel like there's probably not a ton of people that are feeling super comfortable when it's moving like this, taking investments. Maybe you buy the dip a little bit here. I think you let this one settle down a bit, and I'd probably prefer, if you're buying the dip, I'd feel better about gold than I would silver. But one time a day, there's at least one kind of a trend break. And if you're patient enough to be able to catch it, I think like 5 days. I've traded it. I traded it twice today, but that was maybe the second time I've had more than one trade in the last 5 days, and it just always gives you one shot to get a reversion, which is good. And I think it's going to do this for a while, but you don't know how long it's going to be like this.
All right, everybody. We wrote down silver 78, and it never really came in there until we weren't here, and then it winds up breaking it, and then 78 is the top right there before a fall back into 75. So, you know, really like trading silver. Just today wasn't able to come up with anything. You know, you can watch the dollar when you're watching silver right there, but this looks like I would think about a fade again if it comes back up to $78 right now. You know, good run on silver, obviously, but we've had this huge move down, and you're just kind of bouncing off the 50-period moving average. So it's just a wild ride. I'm not in it right now and not really focused too much on the silver trade, but, you know, up to VWAP always looks pretty good to me. Here it was holding, breaks VWAP. We haven't seen it since. So anything near 77.50 to 78.50 in and around here, I think is a decent trade for anybody looking to make a move on SLV. All right, back to the desk.
Yeah, guys, here we go, down 4%, and, you know, was looking to parse losses. I don't know, it's right back into those area lows. A report earlier today said that Sam Altman was exploring alternatives to NVIDIA's GPUs. It was said that he was dissatisfied with the performance for inference workloads. That obviously was pushed back against by Sam Altman himself, who dismissed the reports. But the report was, Sia, that Cerebras and Grok actually have better GPUs for inference workloads because they use SRAM, not external RAM, which is better for inference.
Yeah. And according to Reuters, OpenAI's collaboration with Cerebras also aims to meet the demand for faster performance in coding models, like you said.
Yep.
And Altman also, direct quotes from him over the call, customers using OpenAI's coding models will put a big premium on speed for coding work. Also to know that Cerebras opted for a commercial deal with OpenAI while NVIDIA secured a licensing deal with Grok.
Absolutely, and that was probably to skirt antitrust regulation. Separately, guys, Lip Bhutan did give comments today specifically. One of the comments that he did make was Intel's plan to build GPUs, obviously looking at competing with NVIDIA.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mean to chuckle at the Intel thing, but oops, I did. Too late. No, that wasn't the intent. That being said, just get the thoughts back on track here for a second. That level, that consolidation and that level that had been holding for so long on NVIDIA, like the floodgates kind of opened up, unfortunately, through 185 here. And there's the 200-period moving average, I think, is the obvious spot to wait for them. There was this shock. Like when we saw this yesterday, we speculated that it could have been like that Sam Altman comment, but at the end of the day, this breakdown at 2:30 yesterday didn't actually correspond with any news that happened at that time. We just speculated after the fact, maybe that's somebody knew something. But if you take this curl and the drop off here in NVIDIA, all that tells me is you've got some serious risk off in an area where you think there would be some strength. Partly because we've already had half of the big hyperscalers tell you that they're still scaling, and the benefit has not gone to an increase in NVIDIA. The benefit has gone to increase of our memory chip names, which are still blasting, to Intel, which is looking pretty strong, to things like GE Vernova on the energy side of it, and for whatever reason, not NVIDIA. So I don't know that when we get Alphabet and Amazon and the rest of the Mag 7 names coming through, whether it's going to make a difference. I think we just have to wait for NVIDIA to boost themselves here. I believe Jensen Huang is talking after market today. I don't know what time it is. Obviously, we're going to be interested in AMD, and we'll be following those earnings and SMCI to a certain extent. Oh, he's making comments right now. Okay. Wants to participate. How is it like right when I turn my head to read it, that's when it goes away? NVIDIA wants to participate in the eventual OpenAI IPO. Oh, yeah, well, us too. I'll go along at the open. But that'll be 2 years from now, so.
I'm going short. We're now short. So here's a trade right now. We just shorted that break of the low of the day here on NVIDIA. So you can join me if you like. We're short right here at 97. Here we go. Just looking to push lower, man. I just don't feel great, obviously, about this market today. We've had a big short on the TQs. Now we'll see. Not a big position here. Maybe half a unit or half unit for me. So we'll wait to see where this goes, but nice downside play here for NVDA. So, you know, not a huge risk spot, but we'll see how low this one can go. Give it a little bit of juice, but yeah, Nvidia right now trying to bleed to the downside just a little bit. Today down 4%. I don't remember the last time. I mean, it does have big moves, but 4% is quite a big move for Nvidia. But there it goes. Like, here we go, man. We're already cashing on this right there. We just put it on. So, yeah, good job there. Let's see if it holds. I don't know if this is going to hold or not, but Nvidia right now trying to get a little bit lower, and we'll see about taking some profits at this 81 or so mark. It seems like we're trying to bounce off of that right now. Tons of volume coming through for NVDA. All right, guys, what's next on your hit list over there?
Hit list, I like that. SoFi, guys, just doing some TA, 35% off the all-time highs. Another 4 1/5 today. Stock sliding, see, despite the analyst upgrade. Who was upgrading them? JP Morgan said the momentum in the business is undeniable. The market feels a little differently today, though.
Yeah, and nothing crazy for here. SoFi just raised to overweight from neutral by JP Morgan as of today.
And they're guiding, guys, a $31 price target. It's currently at about 21 right now. The upgrade follows Q4 results, guys, as they did have good 2026 guidance, about 30% revenue growth, 34% adjusted EBITDA. And JP here, not SoFi, JP raised 2026 earnings estimates about 61 cents per share from the 56, again, citing that undeniable business momentum. But SoFi is seeing better days down, over 4%.
Undeniable momentum. The undeniable momentum on SoFi was to the downside today, there, obviously. And actually, I'm kind of glad I didn't take this trade because I had this on SoFi on the 15 minutes where I drew this trend line down here. I'm like, oh, it's setting up on the 15-minute. And then I saw that green candle. I was like, oh, I could get into that long. And for whatever reason, it's just not a huge fan of it. So is what it is and stayed away from it. That said, we've lost the 200-period moving average for the first time since April. And this is, like, this pullback in SoFi, and I get it, crypto pulls back, and some of the fintech names are not going to do as well as traditional banks. I understand that. But you still have the context of JP and Morgan and most XLF just doing a heck of a lot better here, relatively speaking. So this is part and parcel with this shift that we've had in the market to a certain extent in the last couple of sessions, where some of the riskier names are just falling along the wayside, and this gets lumped into that bucket. Like if you were looking at your fintech holdings and you wanted to be a little bit more safe and secure in them, you might be considering getting out of your SoFi. Now, I think that makes sense. I think it's a bit overdone after a fantastic quarter, but that's just me. That's my 2 cents on it. It doesn't matter. The market seems to think that this is what we're doing here. And we'll probably talk about PayPal as well. Like, at least SoFi's not getting woodshedded like them. It goes to show this is a case of a stock which actually beat and had strong growth. So you know how razor thin things are in terms of expectations. Like PayPal, like you miss top and bottom, and you go to levels that you haven't seen in quite some time. SoFi is getting rinsed, having done almost nothing wrong. So we're in a tough market for earnings right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't think it's rocket science to fade all of these plays, man. But yeah, we tried it at 2050 or 2250. I like the upgrade from JP Morgan, and it just didn't hold. So we were in, we were out. There goes SoFi. I bought more in my long-term account today. So let's wait to see. I bought the SPY, about a half hour ago or so during lunchtime there, and just before we went on air. And then I also bought SoFi at 2250 today. I was just sitting there and got it. So obviously we're going to be down about $1 on that trade, and let's wait to see what winds up happening with SoFi. Just absolutely destroyed. But yeah, I like it moving forward. And I still think we can get back up here. I mean, JP Morgan's target is this $31. So something there. And oh, there it is, Neil. We're doing it again right now. As there goes Nvidia, man. Nice move lower here. Let's see if we can get, wow, this is really starting to bump around. See if we can get a 65 fill there. It just cranked into the 60s. Like I wasn't even, this is the problem. This is what I'm saying about hosting versus trading, right? So, but there we go. We were just talking about a little bit there. There we go. We get a 74. We'll still be bidding a 65 now. See if we can get that. But this is another one here for Nvidia. We went short 178. I know some of you guys in the chat have followed, so let's wait to see what winds up happening here with NVDA downside push happening as we speak. Let's go Nvidia. Are we done? Oh, Shreve's done. That was that many names?
One.
Okay.
Oh, I thought, you know what? Because I was looking at it and I thought we'd see, I saw Apple on the list. I know you'd mention Apple, but
Yeah, Apple's pulling back a little bit now, obviously, but we're almost out. I think if we break this, let's just get out of Apple. That's 270. Let's go 270.50 out of Apple if that does break. So, but it's Nvidia right now is the clapper, man. Like that is the one right now for me. As there it goes, Nvidia. We just put it on, man. We just put it on. Like we said, traders going to trade. That was a good trade. Breaking through 78, the low of the day there on Nvidia as the market continues to kind of break, but we're still holding the 50 period, but it's looking like it wants to break. Remember, the government shutdown avoided right there. We have a move back up, and there goes Nvidia. So there we go, man. And yeah, Salvador, you're in this as well, man. Good job there. Hopefully you guys can continue to watch the bottom here on Nvidia. I don't know where it's going to be, but 177, for some reason I keep remembering that level because we've been here before, and the low on that little candle right here is 173. But yeah, maybe we just, instead of just getting these pieces out everywhere, let's just try to maybe now hold and see how low we can go here on Nvidia. Man, we're putting up some numbers today, guys. It's another big day here. The market is starting to bleed even more here. What's up, Adara?
I don't know. So to let you guys know here, WBD and NFLX hearing is now happening, but it's interesting. We were kind of expecting there'd be more concerns here if they would let Netflix merge with Warner Brothers. Now we have Senator Cory Booker, who is the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust. He's saying that he doesn't really think any company should be acquiring Warner Brothers. He thinks any company acquiring Warner Brothers poses potentially too great of a risk when it comes to competition. So that's a really interesting look I wasn't really expecting. Again, not only are there concerns here about Netflix, Senator Cory Booker making the argument that any company acquiring Warner Brothers, which presumably would include PSKY, could serve a competition concern. The only stock that I'm seeing move on this here is WBD, because of course that puts any deal in jeopardy. But either way, keep an eye on this name. It looks like some of these antitrust concerns coming from the senators stem far beyond Netflix's involvement, and they could just involve Warner Brothers acquisition in general. Furthermore, it looks like NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang speaking on CNBC right now. Just be aware, nothing massive happening there, but I'm seeing some commentary come out. Back to you.
Yeah, that kind of a viewpoint worked out so well for Spirit Airlines shareholders, and every single time that they say this, and then no deal happens, and then the shareholders get absolutely rinsed because the underlying company ends up in trouble or and pennies on the dollar. So look, I actually liked trading this. I wanted to wait until the hearing was on, or at least get out before the hearing was on. But with them sort of saying random stuff going on here, I don't know about taking mean reversions, but I've been looking at mean reversions all day on WBD. If it spikes to the upside for some reason, I think I would try to fade it in front of $27.75 because that happens to be the deal price. But we'll keep our ear to the ground on that. By the way, I'll get to Intel, and I canceled my order when we came on because there was that headline about the government shutdown, but then I just went right back into the level I was going to take. But Netflix has lost $80. And I feel as if, okay, well, Netflix has been getting punished a little bit partly because of this deal. I didn't think their quarter was all that bad. The market's been coming down, so you have to respect that a little bit as well. But if this deal were to get kiboshed, let's just say, if we have any sense that this deal doesn't happen, then in my opinion, Netflix is going to get a bump. Almost no questions asked. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think part of the reason why it's selling off is no longer is anybody expecting Skydance to be part of the situation here, and only the Netflix deal's in place, and that's why you're getting the next leg into the downside, and that's why you're seeing WBD fall, which makes perfect sense. So Netflix, if for some reason the deal were to get the kibosh, I think it heads to the upside, but give it 2 or 3 days. At this point, I think the sell-off because Skydance is perceived to be out of this altogether, and now we can just price it on the Netflix deal. There will be a bottom soon, but I'm not willing to buy any more shares of this yet.
Adara?
Yeah, this continues to not look super good here for WBD. We've only really heard Mike Lee, who is the chairman of this committee, and then again the ranking member, Cory Booker, speak. But Cory Booker now just said in cleaner terms, once again, that if Netflix, Paramount, Skydance, or anybody acquires Warner Brothers, it will be too far of a risk when it comes to consolidation. It's going to be hurting consumers. Sounds like Amy Klobuchar is also here. Senator Amy Klobuchar, very known for her writing on antitrust. So we're going to get some antitrust heavy hitters here. Looks like things are going to be pretty intense here in this committee. I look forward to hearing the testimony from Bruce Campbell, who is the Chief Strategy Officer of Warner Brothers, as well as co-CEO Ted Sarandos of Netflix. Should be a fun time if you like congressional hearings, which I do. Back to you.
I don't think many people like congressional hearings, but everyone's had, well, I don't know. I find congressional hearings to be, a lot of times it ends up being a lot of grandstanding.
Sacre bleu.
I'm just saying. Everyone's just posturing for their next election run or the re-election run. Something you get good information out of it, and you don't have, if you're invested in the stock, maybe you ought to pay attention. But ultimately, it is what it is.
Yeah, thank you, Salvador. Yeah, I'll just let the trading speak for itself. I mean, if I just keep talking about these positions, it just looks silly. So there's NVDA. It's now $1.13, 14, 15 in the money. We just put this on 10 minutes ago. I just hope, that we're showing some of the worth here of day trading and prop trading and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's sort of the job here that I have anyways, is to sit here, put on some shares, put on some trades, show you guys some of these moves and talk and have a great time. And that's what we're doing. So I hope you guys are having a great time with us here today. Make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe. We're feeling real good about things right now. So yeah, you guys, whatever stocks you guys want us to talk about, we are just in such a chill mode right now after the last couple days, weeks of trading. It's been an absolute killer of a time. And you guys want us to talk about basically a lot of big names, right? Like Tesla, Palantir, right? Palantir, thank God Palantir reported a good number. Oh boy, their Nvidia is going lower. If Palantir did not report a great number there, man, that would have been an absolute disaster of a day for them. We can look at GXAI, USAR. That was on our watch list earlier today as well. SanDisk finally maybe might have a red day. Still up 1.64% as the Nasdaq's down 2.5%. SPY here, NPT. That was another report there. Oh, sorry, NXPI reported, not NPT. There's PayPal reported. They're down huge as well, down 20%. Apple, we still haven't broken. Oh, I didn't put that order in for Apple. It was supposed to be 270.50 break. If that breaks,
we actually missed the super chat.
We're gonna get out. Yeah, you will get to super chats anytime. We'll put the super chat up now. Let's go. What is it?
Yeah, I just realized that we did not catch this. I know we talked about SoFi, but we always try to make sure we catch every super chat. Heart to heart media. Why do you like SoFi so much better than Robinhood? Like, I own SoFi over Robinhood because I feel like I actually do like Hood. I just don't know that I want to be buying it in this moment while crypto is as weak as it is. So the only reason why I would look to dip buy SoFi after earnings over Robinhood would be the fact that we're in kind of a bearish setup for Bitcoin and for crypto in general. And I feel like that weighs on Robinhood more than it does on SoFi. It's not to say that SoFi has no issues or exposure to Bitcoin and crypto. I just feel like for Robinhood it's a little bit bigger, which for now means that I would put them behind SoFi and the dip buy. But neither one of them is doing particularly good right now.
No, neither one of them doing very good. Next bid for me on Nvidia, I put a bid at 50, then I put another bid at 25. So here we go, and it's now $1.50 in the money as this is starting to get real spicy. I think we've taken almost, I don't know, $15, $16 out of this market, in combined, because we had this, we had a good looker here. I'm not counting that. That was basically our trade has ended right around here, 52.70s, off of this 55.50 short, 52.70. That was just the last little runner that we held. It's pretty stupid. But right into there, $53, 52.50. So that's going to be a good runner there. Apple's been pretty great today, upside, almost faded out for that too. That's why we never got filled, because it almost broke. 270.50, if that fills, then we'll get out of that one. SMR ripped up against, we were long there, then we were short, then we took out a piece. Remember, once we break the 50-period moving average right there, that is a pretty good indicator for an out. We reload it right there and then get stopped. So that's kind of the risk that I'm talking about. And if you want to talk about, risk to reward, like we were in Intel. I liked Intel long, but when it didn't work, we got out. And that way you're not suffering all the way there. And I think in no better example than SoFi, we actually made a little bit of money and then lost a little bit of money and wound up flat on SoFi today, considering we like the long. That's pretty good on that. If we are going to go long on SoFi, you're almost getting close to that opportunity. 2140. I mean, if we break the 200 period moving average right there, I think that there's something to be talked about into that. So yeah, Nvidia does give us that $1.50. It is continuously falling down here. And we just keep on getting down to the downside. So let's see what winds up happening there with everything, and checking on silver real quick here. AM on silver on the Amex there, and yeah, I mean, it bounced off the 200. We wanted to see if it can ever get back to VWAP. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Apple with a nice bounce higher there as well. And then you guys want us to look at Tesla. That's at 416. So that keeps on bleeding downside again. It did have that low move into 414 right there. Still really like the stock. I think you got to pick that up on weakness when weakness is today. But again, with a negative sentiment behind the market right now. And then AMD reporting tonight. I just very, very nervous about AMD. I would... Palantir had a great number. Just ask Alex Karp, and it's been getting killed here today. It was up, I think, 13 or 14% at one point. Now only up 6%. So thankfully, they did put up that number that it's still holding its head above water right now. But this is what the market felt about Palantir earnings, right? I mean, okay, that's nice. Real money comes in, flushes the stock early, and then finds a base around 154, 153. So this is the buy zone now for Palantir. Once it came back down, they bought it there, got hit, bought it back almost at the same levels, and then there goes Palantir to the upside. So, yeah, very many names moving. And then ARM reporting, I think it was either tonight or tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow. Yeah, they're tomorrow, eh? So this is another name that just looks absolutely disgusting, obviously, on the chart. I said I wouldn't talk about it, but, we're now $2 in the money. And this was a name that we had just given to you as soon as it broke. Like Neil was literally talking about it, and I'm like, I'm taking this break, and there it goes. So huge move to the downside there on NVDA. All I'm doing is putting my bids. It looks like I'm taking a bunch of outs because I have 25% left. But that was like, these were 75s, that's 50, that's 25s. So we'll put one at 176 flat and just keep on collecting the money as it just falls right into our lap over here.
Yeah, it is absolutely falling into the lap. Been one of those good days, but it's worth mentioning here. I mean, what does CoreWeave do, right? I think we all at this point understand what CoreWeave does, and usually a decent correlation to Nvidia. Worth noting, this stock has bounced $4 into VWAP and hasn't stopped yet. Only down 1% in a day where the market's going to be down 2.5 and Nvidia is going to be down 5, possibly technical off this 50-period moving average. I would venture that could make some sense, but do we have locates on it? Oh, we don't have. Oh, we have to pay for locates on CoreWeave.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like that's a little bit different. So I kind of look. I like this at the volume weighted average price. That being said, I think if Nvidia were to bounce, you probably would see a good turnaround here. Just one quick note on Intel before I go pay for those locates. I'm bidding for the low of the day on Intel, and they're looking pretty bad. And I wouldn't sleep on the fact that AMD's earnings are probably going to move these guys around here. It's bad enough that Intel failed the $50 level. If AMD gets rocked tonight, then you might expect Intel to go to the southbound side as well. But yeah, strength in CoreWeave, which makes, I don't know, that actually doesn't make any sense to me. Why it would be so strong in today's market, unless it has its own news story that I'm unaware of. We can always keep our ear to the ground for that. But we'll pay the pennies that we get the locates for and look for this VWAP retracement. Only down 1 point.
So there's something going on with Nvidia here because it just is pushing through a lot of volume in the last 5 minutes or so.
Isn't Jensen?
Yeah, I think Jensen probably is speaking, but moves up. It just went to 177 there. Like it was just 176. Like we just got 176.20s, and then it ripped to the upside there. So I'll take a midway print, get out at 70. I have another bid here in the 50s. Maybe it falls back in. We're getting lighter and lighter. Now down to 20%. That's another 5% out right there. We're going to stop out right here, man. It's too much of a violent move for me to hold this. Let's just put that money in our pocket. 177 quarter? Yeah, 177.31s. We'll punch that out. This could not this can be no less than 70-cent winner. But we don't have too much left on this name anyways. So just 20% left of Nvidia. And it wasn't like a huge position as we said in the first place. So, but there it is, man. Yeah, hey, no better of a statement than this, man. We talked about this before. Scared money, here we go. What's up, Hugh? Hugh Nguyen, scared money don't make money. I think that's 100% right on that one. So shout out to all of you guys over there. Almost power hour. And, there we go, says Frank. No, Vander Krot. Nope, that's the wrong one. Here it is right here. Power hour. There it is right here. Oops, I keep on clicking. It's not going there. It is right there. 5 more minutes and we got power hour. But there it is, man. Buyers will come in, will they? And if they do, that's cool. We'll be looking for some bids and offers.
It's not like, I don't know, we had a trader that actually had that thought. It was like, oh, at this time in downward markets, the buyers always come in at 3 o'clock or whatever. I don't think you can just marry that notion. I think a lot of times there's this assumption that markets always find some kind of a bottom, but late money is more important than early money. So like I'll feel better about this market in a general sense if there is buying in the last 15 to 20 minutes, but then none of it's going to matter after AMD reports because then we're back to respecting earnings, Adara.
I just wanted to give you guys an update. They just swore in the witnesses at this committee hearing. Yes, we heard a lot of people talking before that, but Ted Sarandos, co-CEO of Netflix, is now beginning to speak. They're also going to get opening remarks here from Chief Strategy Officer of Warner Brothers Discovery. That will be Bruce Campbell. So I'll be covering all of that for you guys. Going to be probably at least another 10 minutes till we get questions. Once we do start getting questions, of course, I will keep you posted.
All right, there it is, man. The trade is now over. That's a face slap right there. We did put a nice number up on Nvidia, as we'll cover that as it finally breaks a little bit higher. And this is why, like, I always wonder, like, why am I taking those outs? And then sometimes when moves like this happen, the wondering stops, and it just makes sense for me to do that. Still waiting for a turnaround story somewhere. Might be in Tesla. This name was only down 1% at its lows there, maybe 1.25%. Actually, at 414, maybe a little bit more. But it was just hovering right here as the market was making lows. Remember, we looked back and it was down like half what the market's down. So now that we're starting to find those buyers here, maybe Tesla is the one, right? And so looking at a 1-minute chart, that could be something that we look to extend through a little bit there. Or what about just the market itself? This is my biggest trade today, obviously. Still looking for it to break 52. If we can do that, then fine. It's about basically, for me, it's about taking away the emotions from trading and just making the decision when it's there, right? This trade here is just like, we said it's going to go short if we take this 40 marker. It did that, and I just punched short. And it was just like, should have obviously let it bleed, but it was a great trade there. And, trade what you see, not necessarily what you think, because the minute you, get involved and overthink things, it can become way more popular or way more, lack of conciseness in your brain, because then you're thinking, like, I've sat here so many times where I'm short to TQs. I'm like, I don't want to go Apple because I'm short to TQs, but Apple's actually setting up, right? So make sure you do that. And there it is. Do not do, Aziz says, do not do Nvidia anymore. I don't really know what that means, Aziz, but I don't think we'll be shorting. I don't think I'll be shorting anything unless it does set up, like I was just saying. So I think we need some higher bids before I go short on anything. So probably good advice there. Leave Nvidia alone maybe now. But, like I said, trying to get emotions out of it.
Yeah, you just trade the setups. There's a reverse head and shoulders happening on Intel, which means I don't want to reload the short. That's for sure. And this is all I mean. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's what it turns out to be. Like, there's your low, you break the low, you make a higher low. So there's your shoulder, head, the shoulder. It's just about the fact that it's making a higher low. That resolves itself a lot of times for a break into the volume weighted average price in this particular case. So I don't like the reload on the way up. If it can show me a rejection of this and start making downward trends again, fair enough. But we have a tight stop on it. And the other thing about trading what you see or waiting for an actual setup, because that's my whole thing about trading and investing too, for a certain extent. Like, you need to see what you want to happen or you're expecting to happen or what your plan is calling for to then jump in to execute. So yeah, I paid for locates on CoreWeave for the breakdown underneath the volume weighted average price. Here's it from the low. Here's the higher low. See it respecting the trend line. But you know what? If it doesn't break and show me weakness here, then I don't have to execute. Like, that's the beauty of it. Like, you've got to be able, and it's one of the reasons why, and I get it, some people like that line, scared money don't make money. And I'm like, that's one of those weird, nonsensical lines to me, because one of the reasons why you have rules, or one of the reasons why you develop a plan of action is because you don't want to lose money. And human beings, by absolute nature, one of the best things we've been given realistically is certain emotion and certain instincts. And one of them is that self-preservation, because it sharpens you. And I find that if you don't sharpen yourself, then you will not have rules. You won't have a plan of action. And then allows you to say, well, I like the short here at the volume weighted average price, but I'm not going to take it because breaking my rules is silly. And I know that if I break my rules, I'm likely to have bigger losses than wins, which ultimately is what ends up mattering. Now, sure, topping tail candle here, we could still break under VWAP, and then I still take the trade if we get it. But in the back of my mind, I keep listening in, and I don't really hear anything going on with this WBD. And this is what's annoying me. It's like, this is kind of the trade that I was looking for after this hearing started, but I didn't pull the trigger because he had a big wipeout bottom on volume. I kind of went over to it, and now I've maybe missed the opportunity to get in, and I don't like chasing the move. Like, the idea is to get in this candle, like in here, like somewhere in the body of the bottoming tail candle, and I probably missed that move. But good on Adair for reporting all the news on this hearing. Just feels like I might have missed that bottom on WBD. So Power Hour might have to do without that one, and CoreWeave still might not come back in. Doesn't look like it wants to drop.
Okay, right now we can go ahead. Andre, savvy Canadian traders, looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100, the S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3x daily levered ETFs, featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca, of course, before investing. So that looks like that was a great out on Nvidia, as that just keeps on making moves higher and higher as we continue to push through some of these levels. It could have been a short there at the 50 period. I'm better off waiting for the 200 period moving average as well. So we'll figure out what's going on here with NVDA, but just came right back up to that 178 and drops off again. So maybe that is some sort of a key level right into there. I'll probably be light trading the rest of the day. I don't like to do anything too small, so I probably just, if I see something, I might look at it, but probably no more like bigger trades or anything today, and unless there is some sort of a real active move here. We can look at AMD into the close, though. I think this should be something that we look to trade potentially into the close if it gets going. We had seen yesterday PLTR into the close, had a couple moves. Let's just go back and have a quick little look to see what it did there into the close. I mean, things bottomed out yesterday, and then we had a move up, but you could see right here, just we had a little bit of an extension. We went from like one here. Let me see if I zoom in just a little bit. The zoom in is a little bit different on this than it is on eSignal, but this was actually just like sort of the last 10 minutes. Like that made a bottom, and then it kind of went, right? So, bottom of 147 basically to close around 149. So you had a $2 move in the last half hour or so on Palantir. Obviously started and sorted out. Well, you know what? I guess there must have not been that big of an imbalance. If anything, the 350 candle was down right there. So there might have been even a sell imbalance, and it still ripped it into the close. So we can definitely have another look to see what AMD looks like here into the close. So that would be something to look at. We still do have Advanced Micro Devices, Chipotle, Mexican Grill, and SMCI also with a report there. I wrote down a couple weeks ago shorting 30 for SMCI. It doesn't look like that one's going to be a huge trade one way or the other here, but reporting after the close, we'll have to wait to see if SMCI can find its way. That was a missed opportunity for sure, like 100p here on Nvidia on that reload. We did have a great opportunity to reload it right there, and we didn't, but there's a drop into 177.50 again for NVDA. What's up, Sia?
Thank you so much. So We don't have anything big for the economic releases for today, but the API crude oil stocks change will be coming out post-market at 4:30 p.m. today. Let's hop to a quick headlines. Pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk shares have tumbled 11% after the company's sales forecast declined this year. Novo's American depository shares fell 11% as of 12 p.m. today. The results published after the closing bell, where the company was listed. The company is listed in Copenhagen. 2026 had initially set to be a year of transition for this Danish drug maker, but because it's facing backwards headwinds, there are a couple lower, including certain lower pricing funds in Brazil, Canada, as well as China due to the patent expiring. Moving on to Nvidia, Jensen Huang has just denied the OpenAI deal rumors and said that there is no drama going on after certain controversies, and says that there is no controversy at all. It's all complete nonsense, and we love working with OpenAI. Finally, we have Disney. Disney has named Josh D'Amaro as its new CEO to replace Bob Iger. Diana Walden will also be the next president and chief creative officer at Disney. And this is a statement from Iger. Josh D'Amaro is an exceptional leader and the right person to become our next CEO, he said in a statement. And Iger will remain a strategic advisor and a member of the board until the end of the year. And Disney shares have not reacted to that much. That's all.
Thank you, Sia. Well, unfortunately, I mean, Disney shares did their reacting yesterday, so and it wasn't very good, and they continue to look weak. But I wanted to jump back because we were talking about the earnings in SMCI just a second ago. SMCI, if they meet expectations tonight, I was just saying this in the chat, they will be in the teens for a PE, which you can't find a lot of their cohorts or names in the space that actually could say that. It gets somewhat interesting here if they're able to beat expectations on SMCI. I know they've had their wealth of issues before, and there's still certainly some controls in terms of governance and accounting as well for SMCI. But when the valuation at least can potentially, I mean, I don't know what the earnings are going to be. Like, they still have to come out and meet expectations, or if not beat them tonight. But if the valuation ends up not a concern, that's just one more thing that could make this a bottom here at that 28 level, because you are at some significantly ridiculous levels to the downside. You know, January of last year, April of last year, like the tantrum lows, and then this 28 level now. Like, you are kind of quad bottoming here if you go out like a year or so on SMCI. We'll find out after the bell. I forget exactly what time they do report, I do believe, but it is just really the big two in terms of chip names that we're watching tonight. And one of them is likely to have a reasonable valuation, and it's not the one that's performing very well in the stock. We always talk about how valuation matters. Well, that could be at least some kind of a positive for SMCI potentially. This CoreWeave just continues to go. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm not sure why it was relatively strong in the first place, but it's continuing on this trend line, despite the fact I can't come up with any, there's no story on it in particular. I don't see anything running alongside of it as well. But if you guys have any theories as to why it's strong, I'm just leaving the trend line up and waiting for it to break for the short.
All right, new position. Yeah, my name is Sean. I said I wouldn't be taking any new positions. New position. All right, so here's Apple again. You know, let's just see what it wants to do. I don't have too many expectations for it, but it just fell into our lap again for Apple. So let's give this a one shot. That's 68.25. I mean, if we break that, I mean, I don't even want to hold it for much lower than that, to be honest with you anyways. Maybe even 60, like 268.50. You know what? Yeah, forget it. This is a good level here, 268.50. If it breaks that, we're gone. So here we go. We're doing it again right now. So, you know, let's see if we can get an offer at 93s. We're offering 93 now. See if we could just put some, you know, some little, whatever, sprinkle some on top here. I don't know if it's going to work, but we should have just got some out there in the 90s again as we just blasted higher. Like, again, trying to go 1-to-1, like when you're playing these names and, you know, you've seen the market really come back in like this. Like, look what's Apple even doing right now as it's just absolutely falling all over itself. Okay. Look, it's small, right? I mean, we'll take 18 cents there, or whatever that were, or 95s, whatever that was there, 81s, 95s, 14 cents. And we only, look, man, we only got it at 10%. If this thing falls down, fine. But we're just going to try to stack it up. I mean, if we can get a 269, a 70 fill, that'd be great. We're just trying to go basically 1-to-1 here. So we'll take out 15 cents. We're actually going to try to give this about 25 cents through that low, right? So if we break 50s, we'll get out, just a psychological level. If you are, if you're desperate for a hold here and you do think the market potentially will bounce from here, you can give it all the way to this, 268.30. Or, we had written down 268 previously, and that was, again, a pretty big trade throughout throughout the day so far was this long, and we actually just got out at this is how crazy this market is, man. You never know. This is the jungle that we're living in out here. You never know what's going to show up. We just got out 271.50, then we got out 270.50, and now it's giving me the opportunity to buy 268 and change again. So yeah, man, I'm signing up, man. Hands up for that one. We'll put our hand up and sign up for that all day. So now we'll see what winds up happening. Hopefully a backside move now. We'll put an offer through 269. Maybe you'll put another 10% at 269.05. See if that one wants to come through there. But here goes Apple, another decent buy near those lows. So now we'll wait to see where that goes. You guys, I just told you where my offers are, higher through 269. Maybe we can get that one. If you're following on this, then that's my plan of action. There it is. All right, man. Hey, 40 more cents on Apple. I always talk about this, if you're a gambler or whatever, you can get sometimes you'll be gambling and you'll lose 5 or 6 bets in a row. And then all of a sudden you're winning 5 or 6 bets in a row. So right here, this has been just another, this is now a much better trade than I sort of thought it would be. But there it goes, Apple, really appreciating here to the north side on this trade. There we go. We just offered 23s and got that as well. So bang. Yeah, what's up, MF Dangerous? Another trade just put on right there. So boom, there it goes. Nice downside play as it continues to go upside on Apple. But this is, I actually typed in Intel there. I don't know why it didn't switch, but there goes Apple, now 50 cents in the money, brought to you by Apple. All right, so Intel, yeah, still fading off that, so I'm not going to look long there. Look, we picked Apple out, and what I like to do is, and this is what we talk about being prepared, is just go back to your own notes that you made earlier in the day, right? So there's the Apple 268 long as our #1 trade idea. So we continue to watch it. We continue to support it. Apple, nice move higher there. And that's that for that. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. We're out of half already into the 20s. I mean, it went 2-to-1. We weren't even really expecting that kind of a move. So yeah, let's see if we can hold maybe into the close. Maybe if there is a rally, then Apple really starts to get going here to the upside. So let's just sit on our hands now and see what winds up happening. Yeah, boom goes a dynamite. You're right about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just saw in the chat, Martell's oh, is Neil done for the day? No. I'm just only taking trade setups that make sense to me. I'm looking, CoreWeave was the next idea, and I just wait for it to break a trend. And I think everyone has to have their own style.
That's the same style as me.
Well, I think
our entry,
the entry setups are different is what I'm
yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking for different things. I like CCL all day to the long side, but it only set up twice for a long trade. So I traded it twice. And when we zoom out, I hope for my charts to look like this. I liked it as a break from the prior highs, but doesn't hold the prior high. So there's nothing about it that I like until it makes this double bottom, and then here I saw it break the trend line. So there. So the reason I take this trade, now you make a double bottom and you break the trend off VWAP, so I'll try that trend break. But if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. That's why I'm waiting for CoreWeave to show me some kind of a setup here, as it's incredibly strong into a weak market. And if I think there isn't anything obvious as to why this is doing it, then I like that reversion trade even more. So it's about waiting for that opportunity. And one of the reasons why you wait for a trade setup is so that you can put on something that is quantifiable. That way, if I'm waiting for this 1, 2, 3 times we've tested it in the higher time frame on this 3-minute on CoreWeave, I know that this can align with other trades like it, and then I can compare apples to apples, and then you can track your progress. Otherwise, if you're too ad hoc with your trading, you're not going to have a proper sense of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then you can't really judge yourself ultimately. And I think and everyone always talks about just being red or green. Okay, that's great. Like I don't think, like I haven't had a losing month in a while. It's been a while. That being said, there are certain types of trades that aren't working as well as others right now. And I found that waiting for the trend break on moves like this has worked much better for me than a lot of other types of setups. Like I think support and resistance hasn't been very clean recently. That was true last month for myself. And you wouldn't know that if you just judge yourself by being, oh, I'm green today, therefore everything I did must have been good. You know, like that's kind of cap. Like I'm having an update today, but I grade myself today like a C, even though I'm green. I have one losing stock today, but I'm a C today because I bungled the Bitcoin short. And it's not that I bungled the Bitcoin short, it's that it then set this up, right? So when I look, no matter how I'm doing on a session or anything, I will simply look at, well, if something, and I do this in my trade review anyways, and I did this at lunch and I kind of went over, you know, and kind of admonished myself for it. If I like this short and it sets this trend up and it's into VWAP, it's a VWAP loss, it's failing the open range high, it's breaking the trend. Like there's 3 points of confluence on that short. And granted, I know what I was doing at that time. I got distracted by a trade in, which I'm also eyeballing right now, in silver, because I was eyeballing silver for this trend break. And it worked, and it was ZSL. This broke a downtrend, I got into the long, and it worked out for me. I'm eyeballing this in the other direction, which is I think silver is trying to break the other way. Like if this goes down, silver goes up. So see this trend from the break? I'm looking over at silver right now, which if the market's weak, you would think sometimes you could find a little bit of strength. Silver is trying to do this. So here's your breakdown. There's your lower high. It then connected here. If this could do a little mini breakout, that's another trade that I would like. So that's what I mean by have an idea of what it is that you're looking for, because that's the first step. Know what it is that you're trying to do in your trade, and then execute it. And that way you're not going to be ad hoc. And then you can go back and see how you're doing. Like I always try to grade myself in terms of like on a higher level than just individually, hey, did that last trade work? Okay, but there should be more to it than that. Did you follow your plan of action? If I do this 9 times out of 10, will it work? When I made this same trade last month 10 times, did it work? Because if I do something today that was good, that last month I lost like 9 times in a row doing, was it really good today? If the last 10 times I did it, I lost, then what's good about the time I did it today? Nothing, in my opinion. So that's part of the trading psychology and mentality. And that works over multiple time frames. Like you can be a swing trader, you can be a day trader, you could be whatever it is. But you should look at that. If I take breakouts at 9:30 and I'm 0 for my last 10 on breakout trades, and then the 11th one works, what am I going to be happy about? Like, was there something different about that? If there was nothing different about it, then who cares? And ultimately, you did something bad, and it ended up working out. So yeah, a couple of things looking for. I already told you about CoreWeave, silver here trying to break this little mini trend, and I'd want the long breaking out into VWAP. So that hasn't happened just yet. Appreciate you, Martel. It's one of the reasons why we do the show, and you're just saying, and this was the comment, I don't think it's wisdom. It's really just staring at the market for a very long time and having successes and failures and seeing successes and failures of a lot of traders over the last 20 years. A lot of the stuff that I've gleaned is from being a risk manager and seeing traders and their pitfalls, and then also what works for them and what doesn't. And that leads me to my process. Like I gained things from people in the chat. Like I think I was bearish on Bitcoin for a while and got more bearish even after this bounce because someone pointed out to me, they said, Neil, draw a trend line from October 23rd or from October 23 and look what happens when you connect that trend line. And when I did do that, I recognized something here. And the reason I've been, bearish on Bitcoin recently was this trend support turned into resistance. And I said, until it broke this, I stay bearish on Bitcoin. And it's worked out to be true. And that was a viewer that pointed it out to me. And I'm the one that's supposed to like trend lines. So you can always learn from others, and that's what it's all about here.
And that's why Neil has his lessons of the day. The smartest male around here because I can't, unfortunately, I can't say you're smarter than Adara because then I would not be doing Adara enough.
Adara's on a different level.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be the trader. We can talk about Neilage and everything else. And we're really excited, guys, to have the team that we do around here, right? So everybody adding something a little special to the place right now. So it's been a good one for sure. We just went to go get some water, but Apple went mooned, man. It went up to almost, well, it did go $1 in the money. So I hope some of you guys have that right there, and you're able to get a little bit out on that kind of a trade. But I'll take some more pieces out as we go back up to the upside. I'll take some 45s there. We'll see if we get a 65, and if we do get that trade at the end, then we will get going on that one right there. So nice move higher for that name as we continue to watch out, for more plays to come in. I mean, if nothing sets up, this Apple one just fell right into our lap. So we were like, okay, we'll take it. And now we'll wait to see. Could still continue its downside push there, despite the market trying to break higher right now. So we do have AMD, SMCI tonight, and actually I'm going to go call up. And here's Adara coming through again with her Trader TV research page. Go make sure you do follow this page right now. This is everything that has all these earnings on it. Netflix and earnings chill right there. You can go check that out. A whole bunch of stuff. This is who's reporting tonight and tomorrow in the pre-market. Oh, this is tomorrow, actually. Uber, AbbVie, Lilly, and we got that Novo Nordisk. We can go have a quick little look to see what that's doing. Oh, here it is. This is what I was looking for. This is the weekly earnings report. So we could check out NVO, but for right now, this is what we're talking about tonight. PepsiCo came with a decent number. We can have a look to see where that is right now. I'm assuming it's going to be a little lower than where it was off the open, but that might be wrong. And then tomorrow's big. I think tomorrow's bigger than tonight, obviously, but we'll wait to see how these companies match up there. We got Chipotle in the sort of the retail consumer space. We'll see if that kicks out. We did see today Walmart, takes that $4 trillion. There's only a couple of companies that are $4 trillion, my guy, and Walmart ain't one of them.
11 companies are $1 trillion, or is it 10?
Yeah, more. Yeah, maybe 11 or 12 at this point. But yeah, Walmart 127. Yeah, buddy. That's a good trade there. We've sort of done well with Target as well. I don't know. This was just lucky, not lucky. I posted it in October. It was October 20-something where I was mentioning that I'm starting to buy some Target. And it was just into this level, thinking about a bounce. It did go up, it did go down, and now it's blasting. So we're long Target somewhere around here, 80s and change. And again, this is what we're talking about. Follow, and we all put up different stuff. Follow on Instagram and on Twitter, where I put in, buys and sells that I'm making in sort of my own account. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go follow at Trader TV Sean. But we've also recently bought today SoFi at $22.50. So I do like that one, and we'll see if that's gonna be back in the money hopefully by the end of the week. But yeah, this has been a nice downside play there for SoFi, but you got to watch out to see where that goes. And here it is again, Apple coming right back down in and almost broke back lower there. So despite the market kind of just Netflix and chilling, Apple's come back. So let's start to piece out a little bit more here of Apple, and then we'll see where we can go from there. It's not a good day to double check our standings here, as most of the names that were taken were tech names. Adara, of course, has the short there on Oracle. So that was a good one on our pick. And it looks like Adara right here, it looks like it might be breaking 155 and change. So there goes Oracle, even lower, man. And Adara saved me thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I was able to get out right here on Oracle, which is about $200 ago. So that was absolutely monstrous. And that was because we just kept on hearing, her negative bias. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get out of it. I did have too much exposure there. So there goes Oracle to the downside. Adara, I wonder where it's going to eventually stop.
Well, here's the thing, I don't know. And for right now, because remember, this was something that Joe asked me as well when I picked this, how far could it actually go down? And my thing is, I think until we get some resolution here on the debt situation, which I don't think we will, then I think there could be a little bit more downside. But I think truthfully too, you guys know, I don't like to be too negative or too long-term positioning on stocks here just because I don't think it's my place from a news perspective. But just given the research I did into Oracle, I do think, and again, you can find some of this on XITTV research, but long story short, they only started reporting this cloud infrastructure revenue metric, which is basically the hill they're dying on, when they realized they were going to miss revenue for Q1 2026. So it very much seems like they were trying to do a quick cover up by introducing this metric. Long story short, there is some kind of technical and fundamental basis for my argument.
I mean, Adara, I don't think you should say something like it's not my place to. Like you read more financial news.
That is true.
Than anybody here, and you have an ability to retain that. So it's a layer of opinion which is going to be unique in a lot of ways, which I think is exactly what the viewers are going to like. It's that different perspective that makes the show as good as it is. So you should not stop doing it because, again, like I said, you have an ability to remember a ridiculous wealth of information, and you use that to your advantage. When you have a skill like that, I think it's one of the things you got to lean into.
I really appreciate that. I will definitely keep that.
And I do have to say, Adara, number 2 P&L today. So congratulations for Adara, man. You're banging it out both on the news desk and in your own trading. As someone says, Adara is the sugar mama, but
sugar mama.
There it goes right there. P&L 2, man. Adara fully goated there today. Congratulations. ADARA. Okay. Yeah, look. Oh, here, let's have a quick little look at crypto, man. This is going to be an exciting day to look at crypto. Kind of jokingly mentioned that now. Ooh, boy. Let's have a quick look. I'm actually scared to look at some of these names and what they've been doing here over the last 7 days, okay? So today's bad. 4, 4, 5 down, bad. But Ethereum's actually down 25% in its last 7 days, or 25% in a week. A Ripple down 17, Binance bad. Thank God Tether and USDC have zeros there. That's very important. Solana down 21.5%, right, in the last 7 days. Okay, staked Ether, that's the same thing. Dogecoin down 15%. My guy over here, Cardano, trying to stay above water. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to do that. Down 17% as well, man. They just all keep on getting crushed to the downside right now. Maybe the best of them all, Tron, only down 3%, but looks like Bitcoin, man. And we had Kevin O'Leary on in the past, obviously a couple times there, and it's kind of like, I understand, his sort of take on it all. There's one coin to sort of rule them all. And unless you know something about some of the projects, or maybe like a lower valued coin that's about to bump up, and even it could be shilled or whatever, like that's really the thing to get involved with now. I feel like if you're going to be invested right here in this dip down, just watch out for BTC. All the other ones just follow, right? Like as the market continues to go lower, it's Bitcoin is the one that's leading the way right now. So shout out to BTC and it being the one, but just not today. Actually, it's a really nice bounce from 73 all the way to 76 now. That's actually not a bad move there for IBIT. There it goes, right there to the upside. We probably should have maybe joined that with the TQQs here. That looks like this is about to break long too. I think the long is in, man. I mean, we're in 70 cents here on blah, 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 Apple. So let's, if the market's going to go long, I think we're in a decent spot right now with Apple. I really like that stock. So let's go over to SIA, sorry, with... I'm going to say it's Adara this time. I was going to say maybe small cap recap, but let's go into Adara.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting kind of spicy here at this Netflix congressional hearing. Senator Josh Hawley is going off, to put it a certain way, at co-CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, basically accusing the children's content in their programming of not being good for kids, essentially. So lots of back and forth here. NFLX oddly popping on what has to be the most aggressive go at Netflix in this entire hearing. But either way here, NFLX on watch against, again, the programming here for kids content is coming under fire for some reason at this hearing.
Thank you. So the Russell is down 0.6% right now. We're going to quickly take a look at a couple individual tickers here. Fabrinet FN shares are down almost 13%. After announcing its financial results as of yesterday. Company also has been named by B. Riley Securities, has maintained the stock at neutral, whereas Barclays has maintained it at overweight. We're going to also take a look at Stepstone Group, STEP down 12%, nothing major to report. And Credo, I know I mentioned this a lot, but CRDO CEO William Joseph Brennan has sold over $8.6 million in shares, and the stock is currently down almost 11%. Also going to take a quick look at the sector today. The S&P is looking, it's full of red, green, but as we know it, Palantir doing great after the earnings report, and Walmart has also joined the $1 trillion club. Also trade up 2.64%. Nothing major to report. Tesla down 0.63%. Yeah, that's all. Back to the guys.
Thank you very much there, Sia. And yeah, Netflix, I don't know, they get some criticisms. I think most people that understand why it's happening, they get accused of a lot of the content, the whole like, it's the whole woke debate. I don't want to get too much into it, but that has been something that a lot of people had been complaining about. And it's something, you don't want Netflix to fall into that mold, because we've seen stocks get punished for even like just hints of it ultimately. I've seen a little bit of that I think sometimes gets a bit much, but I still like the content there. I haven't finished Stranger Things. All that being said, we did finally get this trend break in CoreWeave. The confirmation candle, so here's the trend, obviously from 84, and then it got up to about 90, and then it broke the trend. I got in when it broke trend, but the confirmation candle was all the way down here into the 30s. So I was posting, trying to get filled again above 50 to grab the confirmation short. Didn't end up getting it, but it would be breaking a rule to chase it down here when my stop is all the way up at like 90 and a quarter. So if it was giving it 70 cents, ooh, there's a shot through the even dollar. What time? Oh, it's 3:30, that's why. Yeah, 3:30 just hit, but it just came in and got a bid at first resistance or first support. I think that would make a lot of sense. I'll leave the offer in. If I can get picked up in the 50s, I would reload it. The reason I'm interested in the early look, Joby Aviation is a Russell 2000 upweight today, or is it an addition? Let me double check. I think it's just an upweight on Joby, which I know a lot of people are interested. That's just it's an upweight, so they're already in the Russell 2000. But this is going to be a name. It's a New York name, and when you're on the New York, that means we can get an early look. I'm looking to see if Joby will show up. It hasn't yet, but it's now 3:30, so you might actually. It's Roblox up here at 2.6 million to sell, which is rather unique. So usually you don't see numbers over 1 million on significant names at 3:30 unless there's an index action. So that is worth watching on Roblox. But I'm watching out for Joby specifically. We're expecting about, I think it says 3 million in the note. So anything significantly smaller than that, I won't consider to be good. But if it comes out 3 million or bigger, then I'd look for a buy on Joby. But why is Roblox 2.6 million to sell? What have we done on volume today on Roblox?
Probably.
It's a quarter of the day's volume. It's done 10 million shares on the session, down 4 points. Yeah, Roblox is another one of these stocks that's just been beaten up rather heavily. I'd rather it be a buy imbalance than a sell imbalance when it's down. I'm going to be real with you. I don't like sell imbalances on down days. I'd rather it revert the move at 350 as opposed to hoping it just continues lower.
Yeah, good look over there on CoreWeave, and yeah, it's trying to bounce back here, so I think that was probably looks like a really good out over there. Yeah, I don't know. I really like Roblox, but I don't think it's time to get back in. Let me check in on a stock that we actually wound up losing on today, SMR. Wow. Okay. So the first look was actually long, and then we went short, and then we went short again, and there it goes, blowing to the top end right now, up 5.25% and trying to go. I mean, let's just take a quick little look at this watch list here to see like which names are really bleeding the most. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be hard, I guess, to zoom in here. But this is what's happening right now. We'll put this chart up and have a quick little look at some stocks. So PayPal, not necessarily near the lows, but you know, still down 19%. There's the SOXL down 8%. Marvell down 5%. Marvell was a lot worse, man. That was down to $73. We'll have to wait to see if that name can finally catch a bid. Micron as well. Some of these higher fly names. I actually was thinking about a break rate here of 416.50. We don't have a bunch of time left, so you know, that's going to be a tough trade for sure to put on there if that does wind up being a thing right now for Micron. But that's like a really good level like 416, 416.50 on that kind of a break. Coinbase, obviously on Bitcoin destruction there today. Bitcoin got as low as 73 change. I don't know what exactly the low is, but now you're at 76. So Coinbase nicely bouncing off of that. Here's Broadcom down 5%. These are the charts that I'm showing right here. So that's coming up to VWAP. So that's actually a really great recovery there for Broadcom. You know, maybe we write this down tomorrow. That's a nice move. This is a 5-minute chart. So, you know, back-to-back 5-minute candles closing near or at VWAP. Good recovery moment here for Broadcom. Robinhood, I can't say I like this stock. I mean, we thought it was going to have a 9 handle. Now has an 8 handle on it. Almost cut in half from its all-time highs here, Robinhood. I don't know. Take it if I don't hate the stock. I mean, I bought SoFi today, and you guys can get a good question about SoFi v. Robinhood. DraftKings, again, you know, a name where if the economy is struggling a little bit and there's not enough money around, I know people always go back to gambling and everything like that, but this is another one of those names where you got to be careful about what you're thinking here as far as DraftKings is concerned, because they're pushing limits down here at $26, $27. If we go all the way, Netflix just lost 80, by the way, so that's not a good look as we just continue to fall down on Netflix. Horrible after the split and not great on this Time Warner deal either as well, right? So Uber broke 80 today, not a good sign. That happens almost right off the open. They report tomorrow morning. Let's see what they have to say about all the robo-taxi nonsense and Waymo and just the extended competition for them. Like, Uber's not going to be able to buy any Waymo cars. They're 200 and something grand, right? So we'll see if the driverless vehicle sort of phenomenon keeps going. And then near the higher side today, Google's been holding out real well on that one. Apple is now... There we go, dollar clubbing right here for Apple as we're long at 268.80. So we'll offer 90s and take that fill right there, bang, on Apple. But yeah, just a little bit of a watch list look there. But there goes, that's just my own personal watch list. A lot of those names I own. Oh, come on. Oh, God, now this is frozen. See, I cannot move this. But there goes Apple. Nice move, 270. We're long right there again. So we've done it again on Apple. So as DJ Khaled would say, another one. It's another one right there for Apple as we continue to go a little higher on that one. We're long there now at $1.06 in the money as we just keep on taking out bids here, taking out offers on Apple as a strong bid is now upon us. And we're at the day's high for myself, so it's been a pretty good day there. TQs, Intel, SMR. Yeah, it's really just an Apple and futures day for me. Everything else is kind of washed in the middle there. Nvidia, SMR, Intel, SoFi. We go 2 for 2 on those ones, and then the other 2 is where the bread is buttered. But yeah, Apple's still flat, which is kind of cool. It being down this much, and I guess that DCA at lunch was pretty good into the futures. Let's see if it can hold tomorrow. Obviously, we're buying it for the long term. So let's see where we go.
Yeah, with S&P, I'm assuming S&P.
Yeah, S&P. Yeah. I'm not buying Nasdaq anymore. Way too.
I've never sold the S&P 500 in my account ever, not once.
Yeah.
I've never sold, but I've never sold a Nasdaq either, and the little bit of the Dow I own, I've never sold an index in my personal account, which I think makes more sense. Like, if you're trimming, then trim elsewhere. Like, you asked about crypto. I wish I had trimmed Bitcoin, but I was trimming ETH because to me, I wanted less Ethereum when crypto was at the high. So instead of like trimming everything, I just took out half of my ETH. Not at the high. You think sometimes you're a genius if you get the absolute top, but it was good enough, let's put it that way, because I could buy back at 2,000 if I want. And I haven't decided if I want to. I might have made a mistake in not, I got that fill, I'm like, I'll leave my order in CoreWeave, but then look at the candle that this bought up into when we got out. I just immediately didn't like it, so flatted the trade, but it might have still worked on CoreWeave, but I'm gonna stay away from it. My eyes are now gonna be on Joby and Roblox, because I think we could have some action on the imbalances there. Joby, I'm expecting something. Roblox, we are seeing something. So we waited for one thing to happen. It ended up working, but I'm not going to take that secondary trade at all in CoreWeave. Doesn't make sense, especially not with the market coming back into the upside. The short works once. You don't have to fight it a second time through. So my eyeballs, again, will be on Joby. If you see me pop in to the long, it's because it broke this consolidation, and I saw it go like a couple million shares show up on the locator. Right now, I see nothing on Joby.
Okay, Joe, who are you talking to Trader TV Live? I don't see Trader TV Live saying anything on here.
Yeah, I'm right here. I sold all my SPY for PSLV, Fabian.
Oh, Fabian.
Scroll up a little bit.
Oh, Fabian said that?
Fabian's in the chat.
Oh, I don't even see him. Okay. All right. So Yeah, not much else to do. So let us know if there's any other names you guys want us to look at. How about silver? Silver and gold, silver and gold. So there it goes. Yeah, up 6.6. 6.6666. You saw that just there for a second. All right, just for Apple trade, man, we have about 15% left as we took most of that out there on that most recent bump. As we now have 12 minutes until the imbalances. Look, man, Kevin Warsh. Going to be the new Fed chair, and yeah, I don't know. He's been with the Fed, and I feel like he's fine. I'm hoping pretty stable. The first cut is going to be when he's appointed there in June, so that'll be the first rate cut that the market will have. It'll be his first appointment. I'm sure that's what the market's saying. So, we could see what the opinion on silver and gold and how that's going to be affected with this new Fed chair. I'm actually very, very surprised. And I even said that back when I put this trade on for silver, that I really didn't think it had too much to do with the washing out of that trade. But it does seem like, we are getting that move down, continuous down movement there on silver. I'm wondering about this little gap right here. Maybe we don't get long until if and when we break 85 or so. But you can play off that 50-period moving average. That's $68. You're going to be nowhere near the 200, man. So we can sort of puff pass on that one. But great bottom. I mean, if you're going to play it, this fell right into this level, $65, and then it started to really accelerate back northbound here on SLV. So I still think there's going to be a couple good green days behind this name as we sort of settle down, and then maybe, as there's more tensions. We saw oil start to run the last little while as well. Oil took a 4% down day yesterday, probably back up today. We can take a quick look at the OIH, which is a good little holders there. This is the VanEck Oil Services. Let's see what they're up or down today. Yeah, up 2%. So as silver goes upside, it looks like oil also wants to try to express that.
They're stronger.
Yeah, and then XLE.
4 points.
I really think this XLE is like on a generational break here. So I think I'm going to be buying some XLE. And I know it's not going to move the same as silver or anything like that. But this rate here, if we go over to like even a monthly or something, I think it looks, maybe it looks better on a weekly, but there it is right now. Taking this out, this is 2014. All right. So interesting levels here on silver. On oil. So this is XLE, the oil services. This is a good little breaking spot here, I think. So good long breaking through 50, and you actually get that movement today, $50.65. So this is looking like a great trade for long XLE. I'm still long this name, but I haven't bought it in a minute. So I like it. We only have 10 minutes now until the imbalances, and join us tonight. It'll be Neil, myself, Adara, and Brendan. With the after hours
AMD
show.
might go green right now.
And AMD, remember I was saying, look at AMD into the close. We saw Palantir run yesterday. It looks like, according to your chart, which is accurate, AMD.
I hope again. So. Because we want our charts to be accurate, though sometimes, hey, it might freeze. I can tell you, I got a Joby chart, which is killing me right now.
This XLE chart.
No, but this is what we saw yesterday with Palantir. I don't think you shouldn't read too much into it. Like, there was a late day bounce. It was actually a little bit later on in the session. We were just kind of catching lows in Palantir. So it was the last 30 minutes or so this did get to the upside. And you're seeing this now with AMD. Again, I wouldn't read too much into this. The market's bouncing. SMCI did a similar move, only it's already starting to pull back in here on SMCI. Now I'll look at CoreWeave again. There's 8 minutes to go. There's still some time. Like right back where it was before. We're going to go to SIA. It's time for Money Talks. 8 minutes again to the imbalances. And then, of course, we have after the bell, not just AMD and AMD and SMCI, but Chipotle as well after the bell. Let's get Money Talks with SIA.
So the US dollar is holding relatively strong against peers, supported by expectations that the Fed will be slow to cut rates. But yen and other major currencies are trading cautiously into certain central bank risk. As you can see on my screen, the Japanese yen is stabilizing after earlier weakness, with the yen that was sliding to the weaker side of the mid-150s. But markets are also waiting on upcoming central bank meetings and data that could certainly shift policy expectations and volatility. Also, several emerging market currencies that rallied in January are seeing renewed pressure as the firmer dollar and U.S. rates are weighing on higher yielders. For example, the South African rand has also weakened to around 15.98 per dollar, reflecting domestic risk and broader yield. Back to the guys.
Thank you, Sia. And Mike Peter Ryder in the chat's like, oh, now Neil's making me look at Joby on the side chart. Not everybody looks at imbalances. And remember, just because it's being upweighted into the Russell 2000 and there's an expected 3 million to buy, right now when I look at this with 7 minutes to go, it's not even on here. I actually had to put up a secondary list, which is just the things that I'm looking at, and Joby is an early look of 200,000 shares, and the paired volume is 1.2 million, when we're expecting 3. So right now, it's actually underwhelming on Joby, which is disappointing. Like I'd like to see, like if a third of that, if it's already at 1.2 million and we're expecting 3, the paired volume, I would want all of that to be unpaired. I'd want to see it up here at like 1 million to buy, but it's not. It's only a couple 100,000, so that actually has me disappointed. But nothing else is really standing out. I mean, SOX S, fair enough. There's probably some people like, oh, but look at SOX S. That's 2 million to sell. Keep in mind, ETFs they don't have a different set of rules. Imbalances are imbalances. It's just that imbalances tend to not move ETFs all that much. I think for valid reason, because you're going to have a whole host of underlying stocks that are in the ETF that are going to move on their own and have their own imbalances. So the one on the ETF tends to not be that big of a deal, unless it's absolutely gigantic. 8% up on SOX, by the way, for obvious reasons. I mean, anytime you have these, this one's 3x bear.
Yeah.
Right, like you're going to get the outsized moves. It's a tremendous amount of liquidity, but always watch out for these little mini disconnects that can happen from time to time. I saw the first one. I haven't seen one on one of these 2-3Xs ever until I saw it happen on ZLS the other day. And now I'll always hunt for them. If you ever see like just a complete dislocation, I don't want to say blindly jump in and take the other side, but if you can find a level, and the other day ZSL, not ZLS, it did this in the middle of the day. It dropped 15% on a real candle when silver did nothing. Within the next 3-minute candle, it was back up 13%. And the next 3 minutes, it had broken the high again. And that was real within 10 minutes. And we were talking about you actually interrupted Sharif in the midday. I was like, you have to go look at this because it's going ham. Just punch the bid because silver's not moving and this just dropped 15%. It was almost, it's not free money because something actually could be, there could be a legitimate flash crash, the people getting liquidated, and maybe you didn't get the bottom of it, but it bounced at VWAP, which is all you needed.
All right, before we get to the imbalances, Neil just talking about the Amex there with SOX S, so let's go find out who's making all the money. We did see that day when silver was going ham, someone made $145,000. We trade with Real Trading. Go check out Real Trading for your prop trading needs. Been trading here for 20 plus years. These are the top traders here. This is not the location, obviously they're located. No one's located in the ocean. These are the markets that were traded last night or yesterday, including Blue Ocean. The top trader, individual traders by rank. And yes, before you all ask, where are the traders that were negative? We only have the top ones. I wish I could show you the negative numbers. But Amex yesterday, someone put up a big number. 40 grand yesterday was the top trader at Real Trading, and these are US dollar denominated regardless of what it says over here. Blue Ocean, so with earnings and you know, some of that talk yesterday with Palantir, probably some Blue Ocean money being made over there, maybe Tesla traded in Blue Ocean, silver. Oh yeah, silver and gold, yeah, they had some big moves. And then someone, again, if you're traded multiple markets, like for example, if I was ever on here today, it would show Nasdaq in New York, Blue Ocean, Amex and Nasdaq. By the way, I've made this list. Obviously, I've showed you before, but without calling myself out. Amex, Nasdaq, Canada, New York, all into there as well. And then look at Blue Ocean. Oh my, Blue Ocean yesterday. We have something for this. The money storm yesterday after hours. Blue Ocean, Blue Ocean, Blue Ocean,
what that was.
Blue Ocean, Blue Ocean, and Blue Ocean. So yeah, we talked about that. Palantir, silver, Tesla, and whatnot there. So yeah, congratulations, people in Blue Ocean. We do have Moon as well, Moon ATS, trying to get it going.
Which when you trade on Moon at Real Trading, it's under, like Blue Ocean is just the aftermarket, so you would literally be trading Blue Ocean even if you're accessing the Moon Gateway with OTC. But just to give you an idea of what this looks like and what people are potentially doing in the aftermarket, it would be this. Like look at Palantir, and this is going to be in the evening, but look at this break. Like it just kind of breaks, it holds VWAP. You get little breakouts of highs. Look at how clean these breaks are. Part of the reason why it can look so clean is because there's lower liquidity, which works in both directions, right? Like if something's going to go, it'll be far more clean when there's lower liquidity. Obviously, when you're wrong, you're going to get hurt a little bit more as well. So you have to make sure that you have a good structure for your trade and all that same rules base. But a lot of people doing very well for sure. And it has been apparently a little bit different. As more people enter the market, it's shifted in the way it's trading. Some of the guys I've talked to at that poker night have said that as well. Like as more people get into the aftermarket and there's more gateways, what you were doing 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago on Blue Ocean might not be working as well. We have a poll up, so I haven't seen this yet. AMD reports after earnings tonight, obviously after the bell. With today's wild market volatility, what's your play? Beat and blast off, no. Dump and get wrecked. Priced in, flat. Sitting this one out. Oh, we don't have the sell the rip again. Okay. Because I do think they have the chance to bump to the upside and then fade. So there's no other better option. So I'll just have to go dump. Like I don't actually think it's like I don't think it'll be expected move to the downside. But I am thinking down from these price levels on AMD, so I guess I got to vote for that. But 50% of you like bullish beat and blast off. What's our expected move? Like 8%, I think, on.
I don't know. Adair did the work over there. I can go double check,
I have to double check
what it was. Adair just gives us all of the notes for us every single day. So here we go. The SMCI expected move. As I look for it, does not have it on here, nor does she have it on for
Actually, you know what,
AMD. But we could definitely look it up. There's only 10 seconds now until those imbalances. We maybe get a piece out of Apple as it's flying high. There goes, yes, sir. Bang, that's a face slapper right there on Apple as we continue to get a little bit higher. Fabian, how are you doing today? Good, man. Nice move to the high side now. We're dollar back in on this one. As let's show you what it looks like right now on these imbalances. I actually got to get rid of this broker. We only want to see the Nasdaq and the New York feeds right there. So give me 1 second, and there it goes. So it still looks like Verizon with a little bit of a sell. Owl with a buy. Oh, Ethereum, Ether, in the Ether right now with a little bit of a sell. So ETHA with a little bit of a sell as well. Apple, okay, there's the Apple bid. So finally, it's working out for your boy right there. So we'll ride that bull into the sunset here for the close. We'll just put an offer quickly at 80s. We'll grab that. We'll hold a little small piece there into the close. But yeah, Apple Palantir is a bid as well. I just saw as that caught a bid somewhere. Nvidia caught a bid. The market's catching bids, man. So yeah, it looks like, you know, good midday buying opportunities closing out on the high side for the Nasdaq, but it doesn't. It's still pretty yuck, man. We'll see if we can trade this tomorrow again. And look, I don't know. We've had a really successful day tomorrow, but could give it all back today, but could give it all back tomorrow. So let's just stay disciplined with everything and, you know, not worry too much about, you know, the amount of money that was made or lost today because, you know, act like you've been here before, right? And we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm not going to be, you know, whatever money I made today, I put it back on, you know, put them back on the table tomorrow, and we wind up seeing what winds up happening. So we're excited to be there. Apple, good little out. Nvidia 180, good move there. Good thing we did stop shorting it. Shout out to Aziz in the chat. But there we go. Nice move there as we keep on getting going here. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, we have somebody that listens to the audio all day. So if there was been a problem with my mic all day, then I apologize.
No one was complaining.
No, someone said listen to it back there. Short the pump says listen to it back. It sounds bad. So anyways.
Periodically, yeah, I mean, look.
I don't hear myself.
It's never perfect. I don't know. Sometimes I will turn it on when people are complaining, and if I notice something, because I can listen to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't really hear anything. One of the things you can do sometimes is refresh. A, B, maybe you can turn down like the quality a little bit sometimes on like the refresh rate on YouTube.
People saying it's fine, so I
I think it's absolutely fine. AMD just took a bit of a right turn to the downside here with only about 7 minutes to go. Just for anyone wondering, Joby did not come out with a big buy, so obviously I didn't punch long, so I would have punched long if it came out a buy. It did not. Joby came out a small sell, so the other direction, and Roblox came out a sell much smaller, so no trade there. But AMD is heading to the downside, unfortunately. What was interesting is, again, it is what it is. Joby comes out a small sell and does go to the upside. So the punch long would have worked, But the idea is to be buying on a buy imbalance. I'm not going to punch long if it's a sell imbalance when I'm expecting buy. It would have worked out, but then that goes back to the whole, if the alpha is just getting the momentum of it being a buy imbalance, then I'm not going to punch long if it's a sell. It would have worked out, but then that's breaking a rule. Watch out for 355 because it's always possible, even the names that don't have a big imbalance, if we're expecting a big one, it could show up or maybe flip in the other direction. So right now, Joby's a small sell. We're expecting a buy because it's being upweighted in the Russell 2000. And back over to AMD, which is still under VWAP and heading lower. The poll still saying about half of you think that we're going to blast off on AMD. 25% bearish, 12% neutral. No one seems to think it's going nowhere.
We ain't blasting
and then
off.
sideline sitting this out, which is a weird one because it's not like, I don't know how many people actually physically will trade after 4 o'clock. That being said, we will be looking at live quotes and show you support and resistance as it does come in live because that's what we're about, even if you're not executing through. I feel like most people play options when it comes to earnings. You're not likely just sitting there punching into actual shares in the aftermarket. You're likely playing options expiring on Friday would be my guess. But yeah, we'll give you the juice on that regardless. They do have high expectations. They're coming in hot with a PE much higher than Nvidia, so they better beat everybody.
I hope they beat like crazy so I can short them tomorrow morning right off the jump, right? I mean, I think we've seen that over and over again with these reports as the beat just goes on. They're not going to have a better quarter
Only
than
Microsoft. Oh, I mean Meta.
Yeah, they're not going to have a better quarter than Palantir numbers-wise, and they got hit there today. So let's wait to see what winds up happening tomorrow with AMD. But join us just momentarily as Brendan, myself, and Adara will be here 4 o'clock, man. What time is SMCI, Adara, for? And AMD is? So 4:15 AMD, 4:05 for SMCI. We'll get those to you, obviously, as soon as they break. And then Adara will just go through all of the numbers. Neil and I will give our trading opinion. And Brendan also will help with some of those, comparables and numbers and whatnot. And we'll give our best opinions for this. And, yeah, join us, man. SMCI. And then Chipotle Mexican Grill. Again, really tasty food, man, but has been beat up pretty good there to the downside. Always get the guac. Actually, on a daily, it's actually up quite nicely. I didn't even realize this. We've taken out the 50-period moving average. All I'm saying is that it was beat up, and I have to correct myself because we're up quite nicely now, up 30% from the lows right there on CMG. So, yeah, man, get your bowls and wraps and burritos and all that before earnings call and sit down and have one because here we go. It's going to be an exciting look there. Starbucks beat. Remember the thing about Starbucks. Starbucks beat, showing strong consumer. They were up 10% morning after, then whoosh, right down to their downside. This was Starbucks earnings day right here. It actually went to 105, 106, man, and then it just flushed that whole day. It was up 10% in the pre-market, gave it all back. That was Starbucks on the downside there. So just be careful. And then let's check on some comparables and see what McDonald's is up to right now, just to see what the consumer is all about. And Kava might be a good comparable, maybe Dutch Bros, but look what McDonald's is doing. Oh, yeah. They are loving this stock right now, up to near the tops right here for McDonald's. Wow, okay. I used to be in this name. I probably am small, but not anymore. There it is, 322. Looks like a great break opportunity there for McDonald's. Wow, near the highs.
That's
okay.
It's the inverted look of what's happening to Sweetgreen.
Oh yeah, well, Sweetgreen's a disaster.
That is a dumpster fire is a better word for it than disaster would be. I mean, a disaster. You're down like 80 something percent. That's a dumpster fire. A disaster would be.
They're a recent
like
IPO.
25. I forget how recent.
I think this is another Josh Brown name that he loves.
I don't know. I know Uber. I don't know.
He loves Uber, Pfizer, Toast. I believe Sweetgreen.
I don't dislike Uber. I just think like right now there's just a lot of negative sentiment
I like Uber too.
Around Uber. No, but Sweetgreen's a dumpster fire.
Yep.
But it's also a potential short squeeze because it's like this is the one the hedge funds. You're putting hedge funds kids through college, at least the ones that go short stocks like this. But in about 3 minutes, in about a minute or so, we're going to turn around so we can get to the desk. Yeah. SMCI is going to be first. I know we talk a lot about AMD, but let's not forget SMCI actually could end up green today into a weak market. So maybe the bottom is in for SMCI. You can't say that the valuation is a huge huge deal anymore with them because they're about to be in the teens on their PE, which sometimes when you're worse than your peers on valuation, it's for actual reasons and not because you are an actual value. But we are going to get them 405 and then spaced out between them and Advanced Micro Devices, everybody. And we'll see. Apparently, SoFi is catching a bit of a bid going into the end of the day as well.
Yeah, good. We'd definitely like that. Probably Intel, probably as well. But yeah, Apple, we just cleared out of that at 50. So Apple, done. So we'll be done with that trade today. Real big, man. Apple. We actually wound up making half on Apple that we did on the TQs, but still a good trade there for Apple to end the day. No mistakes here at all. Bought the 268s off of our sticky note. All right, we're going to turn around. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. It's been an absolutely fantastic show with just a minute left. Nasdaq down 1.55, ES down 0.85. It's been a blast. Over to Adara and Brendan, and we'll see you in a couple minutes with SMCI and AMD.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, a lot to cover here tonight as we get into some of these earnings reports. The market overall making a move higher here into the close, but...
Apparently there's mic issues, so I will take over really quickly. But yeah, I can take you guys through the expected moves on these. I just posted this here in X at TTV Research. Largest expected move, shocking, probably no one, is going to be super micro computers. 3.1% expected move, but in general, these 405 earnings names have the best expected moves because Enphase is in a close second place, 12.9% expected move here, also reporting at 4:05 p.m. The one we've all been waiting for, the darling of our eyes, AMD, only 8.2% expected move, relatively small, Brendan, Sean, and Neil, for this crop of earnings names. So it should be a pretty interesting look. Right at 4 p.m., we're getting Amgen, Lumen, and Take-Two Entertainment. Take-Two, of course, on watch with a lot of these gaming plays, given some concerns that we've had here with Google DeepMind and its Project Genie. And in 1 second, the bell will ring. The bell is rung. Amgen, Lumen, and Take-Two all on deck, earnings at any moment. But again, 405 SMCI, 415 AMD. Those will be the really big marquee, big ticket earnings plays on watch.
Well done.
Thank you.
Market ends the day in negative territory. Hopefully you can hear me now. That would be key. As Sean was mentioning there, 1.4-ish, it looks like, 1.45 to the downside for the Nasdaq, S&P 0.85 to the downside as well. We did make a nice move here in Nvidia as well on the way back into the close, leading. As far as these as far as these semiconductors are concerned, again, the focus going to be on AMD tonight, but there is a lot of focus on Nvidia still, guys, after that huge move down out of the open this morning. We'll keep an eye out for SMCI when it does come across here. But I mean, this is an important report, obviously, for AMD. But I think a lot of the focus here going to still be on the overall mood, really, from the semiconductor side of things and the GPU side of things, with NVIDIA a little bit negative to lead things off. If AMD comes out here and blows everything away, is better than expected right across the board, still gets hit hard, that doesn't say a lot for tomorrow.
Talked about this before. Like, this is still a stock that's trading pretty expensively as we speak.
I think it's what Brendan just mentioned there. Like, what if it's down? Remember I said, like, just jokingly, like, imagine Palantir missed. Like, that stock could have been down 20 or 30% today, honestly, right? So it fell 10% on great, from top to bottom, 10% on a great report. So we do fingers crossed here. We're looking for an EPS, Neil, of 132 coming out for AMD. And then the guide, obviously very, very important. We're looking for a revenue guide between 9.3 to 9.9 billion. So that's what we're going to be looking for.
Yeah, fun fact, if you are stressing about this as a shareholder, Tom Lee, I just saw, has 103 million worth of, no, that's billion, sorry.
Right, shares
3
maybe.
billion notional, 2.4% of AMD. So yeah, he might be stressing a little bit over this as well. So, and that's in that GRNY, I was just hearing also. So yeah, NASDAQ unofficially down 1.45 on the nose, as I was mentioning, S&P 500, 0.8 to the downside, or about 58 points when all is said and done. Some Bitcoin negativity today as well. I mean, we did get a little bit of a bounce here, guys, going into the close. That's IBIT. A few people mentioning this rally into the close. Maybe some people dipping a toe in here ahead of potential bounce back for some of these crypto names. But we did get below 74,000 today at one point. That's pretty ugly.
don't want to forget about SMCI coming up
I have it up.
momentarily. But
By the way, Lumen's down 15%.
Okay.
So we're 0 for 1.
Hey everybody. I mean, I like these cameras. This is very fun. Where am I? Oh, over there. Hey. Oh, hey everybody. Yeah, welcome to the.
That's the shot.
Which one? This one? That one. Yeah. This is the shot. Yo, what's up, Joe? My guy Joe, right there. Okay, so SMCI right now, 0.6. But yeah, to Brendan's point about Bitcoin, look, I don't have the Bitcoin chart up, but in a risk-off day like today, no doubt, I mean, IBIT did touch pretty low there. Its lowest level since, I believe, November today for IBIT, touching down to $41. But as Brendan just mentioned, we're not even down that much at the end of the day, only down 1.6% there on Bitcoin, as the market did have a nice little rally to close out the day. What was the IWM actually down after all? I don't even have the quote there. It's on Amex, of course. IWM, load. Okay, so it was up today, actually, after all that. So you can see the difference of
leave that up for a second. See that V-shaped recovery? I know we're waiting in here for SMCI. While we wait, see the V-shaped recovery in IWM? Almost identical to the V-shape at the end of the day here in Bitcoin. Whereas if you Bitcoin
SMCI is out, I think.
76, by the way. SMCI is going to be out. Let's flip over to SMCI. But Bitcoin did recover to 76,000, so $3,000 off of the lows.
Yeah.
Tom Lee can't be hurting about that. He should be liking it. But SMCI already out?
I don't know. I mean, I just saw a big volume spike there, but maybe not. I mean, it's that volume was actually at the close, but just went from $29.40 or so up to $30.45. Obviously, Brendan and Adara going to have these numbers. It might not be out, but yeah, 77,000. You guys buying the dip on the desk with Bitcoin?
That's a good question. It would have to be a big one, I think, to really get me interested. Serious Logic, however, guys, just coming across here. CRUS Q3 26 earnings, 560.6 million, beating estimates. Non-GAAP EPS 297. That's higher. 241 was the estimate. Revenue 410 to 407 million on the guide, also higher. So across the board, green check marks here. This thing's up huge. Just hit 140 after going out around 125 for CRUS. Just seeing Amgen coming across here as well. AMGN revenue 9.9 billion versus 9.46 estimate. EPS 529 versus 473. So AMGN to the downside initially. We're bouncing right now, however. Still no SMCI though, guys.
Oh, there's also news here on S Labs, Silicon Laboratories. Looks like in advanced talks, you've got Texas Instruments. I'm still looking at SMCI, but you've got Texas Instruments in advanced talks to buy chip designer Silicon Laboratories. So S Lab, I believe that's on the Nasdaq. Probably not something a lot of people are going to be interested in, but it's an interesting thing when you see the markets are still liking deal making here. So it's already it's popping 30%. In advanced talks, and the stock's acting like this is happening, we're already getting a 30% bump there. I just see it in advanced talks. Not like a deal is going to be done here, but Texas Instruments, they're coming off their report and looks like they're making an acquisition here, or potentially making a sizable acquisition. This would be about $7 billion if there is a deal coming through. That would be S-Lab. If you see things moving around here, then we're certainly happy to cover that news while we wait for SMCI. I saw the volume spike you did, Sean, so I was kind of thinking the numbers were out, but we're still waiting.
Yeah, I think that's good news for Marvell if some Silicon names are starting to be bought out. So nothing happening with Marvell. We'll do a quick little check on that. Not much going on. So yeah, we're going to have to give it a second. We don't have SMCI. We're expecting 405, which should be momentarily. So let me see if we can get it live if we just click on here right now. So we're still waiting. It is just 405 right now. So as soon as that number comes out. But remember, Adara, they had like back and forth accounting issues, and they were delaying earnings.
And Q2 fiscal 2025. Their fiscal year is a bit weird, so they're about to report Q2 2026. So again, that means that this quarter last year, they actually did not give us a report. That's what that means. They gave us a preliminary report. And even as I was making the infographics for earnings, I had to math some of it myself because they only provided estimates. They didn't actually have year-over-year revenue growth for a lot of things. So it's a nice little homemade project there for SMCI, but we'll see if they give us something better and less homemade this quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it must be super thin. I don't have a level 2 in front of me, but it must be super thin right now. Every trade seems to be about $1 or 50 cents at least wide. Bid to offer. Yeah, still not hearing anything, guys, as far as SMCI goes. That AMGN move starting to go a little bit farther. I'm hearing a little bit to the downside, but AMGN, it looks actually decent on the actual numbers. EPS was 2160 to 23. This is the guide, full year guide, 2160 to 23, which was basically dead center of the original expectation. So that's really the only cautionary point. Revenue 37 billion to 38.4 billion for AMGN. So made a huge move down to 327 on a bounce right now. Again, nothing as far as SMCI at this point. Again, if you're just joining, AMD guys 415. So we do have a better part of 7 minutes to go here for AMD.
I mean, AMGN looks pretty good. I mean, I have the daily chart up right now. I mean, not everything is going to be software related. So we'll see what AMGN wants to do, trying to hold this 345, 346 area. We'll see if there's a top tick blasting through there. AMGN did give you an opportunity to buy that dip on the algo spike down, but not much volume here in the after hours with that report. And, you know, all eyes continue to be on SMCI, and of course, and then we look for AMD. So I think AMD will put up great numbers and will beat everything all around, but I don't know what the reaction will be. My guess is initially up, and then AKA every other stock fall back down after. Even Microsoft actually went up initially, if I remember correctly, and then pulled back once those numbers started to get parsed through.
AMD's guiding, if you go to prior quarter, they're guiding 30% better on the revenue side.
Okay.
So like we are expecting big numbers. If they can beat that, like you're talking about good numbers for a beat. I see, and by the way, Enphase is also reported here. They beat top line 71 cents versus 58 is the estimate. Sales a slight beat, 343 million versus 340 estimates here for Enphase, up about 6%. That's not a gigantic move for Enphase. When you look at it on the daily, hey, Enphase is above the 200 period moving average again. So congratulations. A little bit of a turnaround in the solar space. They've been beleaguered. They've been beaten up. Things didn't go their way the last couple of years. I think we all recognize that. And they don't necessarily have the same support that they did with the administration. But they did beat top and bottom. Maybe the start of something. This is one of the, for lack of a better word, I suppose, better ones.
Another one just coming across here, guys. Take-Two just reporting TTWO. Downside, EPS missed. Yeah. So 50 cents versus 83.
We saw something of them the other day, didn't we, Adara? There was some sort of a news about Take-Two, because I remember...
No, it was about the whole gaming sector.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Unity.
Google basically announced that Google DeepMind Project Genie, and that's what led to the move in all the gaming names.
Come on, Brendo. I mean, Take-Two is monster. Yeah, I know. Brendo just repeated the numbers.
Guys, everything else was decent.
It's good,
here.
yeah. So I think that we should have bought that dip, man. When that went down there on that news, I mean, we know that Take-Two is a Grand Theft Auto story. And here, Brendan, see if they give you a timeline on Grand Theft Auto if you see that, because...
They do. They haven't changed it.
So it's
still
May,
November
right?
26th.
November, okay.
So that was the last time they pushed it back. They have not pushed it back further, which for Take-Two is actually pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Take-Two's numbers are great there. Nice move up. I mean, it got beat up today, obviously. Wow, did they ever get beat up today from 222 down to 208? And there's the move higher on Take-Two, as if today didn't even happen. So a good little number there. But, you know, I was going to ask this to Adara. Like, what are the chances that SMCI doesn't even come out today? We're already 5 minutes late. Have you been seeing anything on this?
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay.
This is not the company that needs to keep everyone waiting.
No, I mean, they finally have a legit accounting firm, right? I mean, wasn't it a board member that was doing the accounting for a while there?
A cousin?
There was something, yeah.
There was some kind of accounting.
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah,
it's all fun.
Yeah, it was like the guy that flunked out of his CMA or whatever there was doing the accounting for a minute.
For Chipotle lovers, you're not gonna like this one. It's downside, Adara.
It is downside there, and I mean, I like Chipotle as far as fast food goes, so that's a little hard to hear, but we'll talk about it. Adjusted earnings, 25 cents per share, narrowly beating estimates of 24 cents. It's basically in line, guys. And then sales, 2.984 billion, also narrowly beating estimates of 2.963 billion. Just reading through the report here, revenue did increase by 4.9%. Year over year, comparable restaurant sales down, though, by 2.5%. Operating margin down year over year. Restaurant level operating margin down year over year. You guessed it. It's kind of a rough look. A lot of things are either flat or down year over year for the most part, guys, other than revenue.
Chart could be worse, guys, for CMG here. I mean, we're back to 20. Could be worse. We're back to 2023 levels on CMG, but you know, a lot of support in this area.
I think the price of burritos needs to get back to 2023 prices, because I know with foods, obviously with the food costs and everything, has been been quite a hindrance on CMG, that's for sure. And then they went through that time where they had a bunch of bird flu and all these kind of crazy things with the quality of their product. But it took me by surprise. I know Neil and I were talking about this at the end of the day, and I was like, wow, CMG's been getting crushed. And then I looked at it, I was like, wait a second, it's up from 30 to 40, but this is giving us another little bit of a bid down here, 34 and change there for CMG. I always get the salad.
They're back in the penalty box for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just seeing, guys, the 2026 comparable sales about flat. So they're saying about flat. The estimate was 1.84% higher.
Yeah, that's just not going to play.
Huge miss.
They already hadn't recovered from the issue Sean was talking about there, and you can't miss there. You can't miss on the same store sales. Even if it had been like a muted buy, it would have been okay, or a muted like 1%, like something. But you can't be flat. The market's going to kill you for being flat on this. They're only down 9%. I think this could end up a lot worse. I'm not saying they're going to be down 20% like a PayPal, but we saw what happened to PayPal today when they disappointed, and it was 20% to the downside for PayPal. So I feel like Chipotle could be a little bit of that. And the longer we have to wait for SMCI, the more my paranoid brain says, if these guys don't report, they're toast.
This is what happened last time too, where we just kind of kept waiting and then we never got a report. So unfortunately, the playbook for SMCI is falling in line. I'm going to be honest with you guys, as someone who sat in another desk and looked at the same stuff.
Let's try and be positive.
I try to be positive.
No, but this wouldn't be the first time that a company said it's going to report at 405 and then it comes, whatever, 20.
It could pull a Meta.
20
yeah,
minutes later.
like that one time.
Hold on, Brendan.
No.
They have not earned the benefit of the doubt here.
Well, I have a date tonight. I'm not staying too late.
Going?
Nowhere, I just made that up. Okay, so
Gotta keep it.
no, but
I'm on their
Curious
toes.
what you're going to eat, man.
I was actually going to ask Adair because PayPal's down 20%. Obviously,
Okay.
you know, our generation is one thing. PayPal was pretty hot for a while there.
Are you asking if I use PayPal?
Yeah, basically.
So I only use it for certain U.S. screenwriting contests, and even then, only if I have to. That is the only reason I have PayPal. Alex Chris shocked the world with his poor performance, and now he is gone. That's why I've been wanting to use that pun all day. So that's all I have to say here about PYPL, truthfully.
I just want to see where the user.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He did. That was that was maybe a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Oh, it was January 2024
Right. Yeah. I knew that.
Go here, guys, for AMD. So,
I knew that exact date.
so never mind the SMCI. We'll get AMD.
No.
1 minute's time. Hopefully, they are not late.
Oh, that's probably worse.
Well, there's a move to the upside.
Okay, here comes. I mean, AMD is going to be out in
AMD 's
just a
moving.
minute now. AMD is not going to let this thing go. There goes AMD up $5. It has to be out right now. It is
It's out.
fluctuating
It's out.
$5, $6. The numbers are out. Adara, let us know. Interrupt when they
I'm
come.
ready to go.
Okay, she's ready. Over to Adara.
So fourth quarter revenue, $10.3 billion. That is a record for the company and well above estimates of mid-9 billion. So that's going to be a beat. Gross margin, 54%. Operating income, $1.8 billion. Net income, $1.5 billion. So again, I do have to mention here that record revenue, and again, well above estimates, that $10.3 billion versus estimates of $9.65 billion. That's going to be up 34% year over. Nice look here year over year. Gross profit here also going to be to the upside. Gross margin up 3 points here, 3 basis points. Operating expenses also to the upside. Operating income to the upside. Like there's nothing negative I'm seeing from this report.
Well, actually,
I was just looking at the guide. Did you see a guide?
they
there?
I have not seen a guide yet.
What was Q1 revenue 9.5 billion to 10.1 billion. Estimate was 9.4 billion. So Q1 revenue 9.5 billion to 10.1 billion. The estimate was 9.4. So kind of mid-tier here. I mean, this thing's down, but could be worse.
They also guided China revenue.
Oh, it will be
which
worse.
Is significant. $100 million in AMD Instinct sales to China they're expecting. So that's a nice look there for AMD. They also had record data center revenue, $5.4 billion. For the record, last quarter, $4.3 billion. So they've done their record by $1 billion, guys.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it could easily be worse. They're still actually digesting and it's heading lower. But we needed the option of the pop and fade. That was what was not in the poll. If you were following along, there was 50% of you thought we'd have a blast off, and then there was 20% on the bearish dump, and anybody that thought pop and fade like Palantir yesterday had to vote for bearish dump. And now we are heading lower. Now 5.5, almost 6% to the downside on AMD. Ultimately, it doesn't. We said this with Palantir. We said this all throughout all these tech earnings. Sometimes even a beat is not going to be good enough, and it can matter that you're priced a little bit too much to perfection. We've seen AMD rally in the last little bit when Nvidia couldn't rally. AMD is expensive relative to Nvidia, so to me, you needed a huge beat to justify it. Coming as expected on a stock which is already a little bit expensive relative to its peers is not cutting it in this market right now. It's not cutting it at all. And by the way, not reporting at all is also not cutting it.
When Brendan said AMD, possibly going lower, it is going lower. It's going to continue to go lower. It's just not impressive enough for me. Gross margins 55% versus 54.5. So it's nice that they're not negative on the gross margin number. But AMD did have a decent day today, and now it's getting clobbered. Well, decent day. Nothing really had a decent day, but it was holding up okay there around that 244. Now you're down to 233. But we've already talked about this. AMD has no chill. It's a roller coaster regardless of earnings or not. So to me, it's this 220. This gap fill right there, that's what we're looking for tomorrow as a possible holding spot, or once conference call, which I believe Adair is probably around 4:35 maybe at this point. So right now, downside move
5
here.
p.m.
5 p.m. There it goes, breaking 230, breaking 229. We're getting lower and lower here as AMD keeps on getting away from themselves. 227 just got printed, Brendan, on this. And remember, we have to remember also that we have the memory glut as well, or shortage. So we have to think about also the fact that can they produce as many chips as necessary to meet whatever demand they possibly have. So we'll wait to hear for that on the conference call as well.
Intel already said they couldn't.
Exactly. So this is a monster problem. And then before we go back over, let me just check out some of the shrapnel if it's being defended at all. So right here we do have a move down in Nvidia. That's not great. Down $2 on NVDA. Broadcom go boom as well, I would assume, to the downside a little bit. Nah, not as much for Broadcom. Actually, they're down $4. That's no good. And SMCI, guys, they have not reported right now. So SMCI still all the way and waiting for that. This is a bad sign, I think, for
That's
SMCI.
a really clickbait, bad Sean. I fell for it. I literally looked at Brendan. I was like, clickbait when you were like, SMCI.
Yeah.
I was like,
Not reported.
No.
I looked too, I'm
Thank
not
you.
gonna lie. We're all sitting there waiting for it. Someone's in the chat, they're like, oh, you guys love it when stocks go down. It's not but trust me, nobody likes it when stocks go down. It's just a matter of being honest about what you're seeing happening overall. I'm not happy that
That was awesome.
the downside, but
Sorry about that, everybody.
no, you 100% make
most people like that. Most people like that on there. So
the first thing I did was I was watching AMD. I popped over to
We're
SMCI
trying- we're trying to create
see if we're
some
headed,
action over
and
here.
it's not. SMCI's continue to head down. Some of this might be sympathy, but there's a decent portion of it is where are the earnings? Everybody else comes.
You know what?
Time. We're still waiting. So what does happen if SMCI doesn't report? Are we just down 5%, 10% tomorrow?
Probably not. I mean, there's probably a reason for that. I bet you they report at 5. I mean,
maybe with the time's wrong.
Yeah. I think that maybe the guy just put something.
505, not 405.
Maybe they moved
it's
it.
usually 405.
It's usually.
Maybe they moved.
I want to say about the memory names just quickly, and we'll throw it back to Brendan. Let us know if there's anything else in that report, Brendo. But SNDK down decently right here, down about $10 right now on this. The whole space is probably going to take a little bit of a downside tick here. It's just AMD. As far as the market cap is concerned, it's not an Nvidia or anything like that. And Neil already mentioned that AMD was already trading at a richer valuation than pretty much all of its peers. Tom Lee, as Brendan mentioned there, $100 billion worth of shares.
Yeah, he's pretty deep.
There right now. So he's down, he's down a couple, $4 or $5 billion right now as he was before. But there goes Intel with a pullback as well. So the whole space, Brendan, Adair, and Neil getting hit right now.
Yeah, he's pot committed at this point, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. He's just,
you have that many shares, like you said, like you're pot committed. There's not much you can do. You probably double down. It's very possible, like I said, that we might see a situation where this rollover in AMD. I don't think it'll be the same as Palantir. Believe it or not, had the power to signal a bit of a top for some of the risk names. I don't know that AMD will have the exact same power in this situation because NVIDIA's already dropped a couple of days.
well, you said that the keyword was rollover.
It was
right?
like it already started.
This has nothing to roll over on. This is rolling over on its back as we speak here.
Only
just
rolling
to-
over in itself.
Just to summarize, guys, they just reported revenue of 10.27 billion and then guided 9.6 billion.
Right.
So that's the wrong direction. But just on your point, Neil, that's the wrong direction if you're looking at what's coming in the future.
And well, they also came into this like they're. And don't get me wrong, like I like the stock. They came to this with 129p, and the forward was 39. So even in the face even in the face of these numbers, you're still looking at an expensive stock. And then to your point, if that's not going to get better based on what the guide is telling you, then you get this doldrum. That said, it's trying to bounce right here as we speak. It's back through the 230 level. So you are catching some kind of a bid when you zoom out to that daily chart. But I don't know how long that's going to be.
It needed to hold. It's holding. So, look, I think it's a short tomorrow, no matter what happens. But yeah, 230 holding out for that price right there. Let's see what winds up happening. But yeah, big plus 33% year over year, right? 10.27 billion in revenue. I mean, some of these numbers are really good, man. Gross margins beat as well. There's actually not much wrong with the report. It's just when you don't, I guess, put up these crazy. Yeah. I think we're all spoiled with Nvidia numbers from like 2024.
39% on data center, and we're not happy.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Record
We're not.
for data center.
It's going the wrong direction, though. That's the problem, right? If next quarter it's down, that can't be a good thing.
No, it can't be a good sign.
The rate of change is changing fast enough to the upside. That's a problem.
Let's look. The sky's not falling completely. The low of the day on AMD was 237. We're at 232 right now. That is like basically almost a nothing burger, believe it or not. I mean, it was down. If it was going to break that level, we were going to get a lot worse. But you have to remember something. Palantir dropped 10% basically off open. It was up 13% at its max. I think it closed around 5%. So you gave up 8%. You give up 10% or so on AMD, you're in the 210s. So we're nowhere near the low here for AMD, and we're actually battling right back upside. And yeah, APB, all points bulletin out for SMCI, and right now as they are not coming through with a report. But I'm surprised, Adara, that you haven't been able to see anybody tweeting or
literally no one.
I'm sure they're already just over it. They're just like, it's not happening. That's probably what it is, because usually I would see some stuff. I can show you guys, though, because I've been working on this up here because it's what I do. Here's an updated look at AMD's performance by business category for the year. Now, this is nice because, and you can find the one from last quarter. I posted it on XTV Research as well. Embedded revenue actually dropped last year.
Let me, I just got to get rid of that. Okay,
no worries. So I just want to mention here, so data center revenue dropped, or sorry, embedded revenue dropped last quarter. It's actually up year over year for this quarter. Client and gaming revenue up 37%, though it is down on a quarter over quarter basis. So it's down sequentially, but up nicely year over year. Data center revenue for AMD, this is significant. It was actually up only roughly 22% only, but you know what I mean, only 22% last quarter. This quarter, it's up a healthy 39%. And again, it continues to take an ever larger share of this pie chart, because last quarter we had $4.3 billion in data center revenue and $4 billion in client and gaming revenue. They were almost neck and neck. That is not really the case anymore. So data center revenue, regardless of if it's slowing like the next quarter, as of this quarter, still growing and trying to eat up larger chunks of AMD's classical business.
It's interesting on that front. All things look great, but overall, the number.
Well, I like to visualize things in different ways.
A little bit questionable, yeah. Interesting. If you zoom out here, guys, on a daily chart, I mean, we're smack dab in the middle, basically, of this range once again. Down from the close, obviously, but I mean, like you guys were saying, could be a lot worse.
Well.
I mean, it could be, PayPal.
No, after what we saw today, like anything could be a heck of a lot worse. What happened to PayPal and what happened to Palantir has shown you that it could be a heck of a lot worse, and there's no question about it. But that's because, well, part of it has to do with how strong this market has been. Let's not lose sight of the fact that just back in October, look at the daily chart of AMD and where we were in October, just sort of chilling at around 175, 180. And we double tapped $260, all the whole while where everyone was saying how expensive they are and why are they holding up so well compared to Nvidia. That's part of the story here. It's not necessarily that it's all bad, but we just rallied 30% to start the year to the highs on AMD. So yes, it did need to be perfect in this situation. You're not going to break out highs in this market without something spectacular. Look at what SNDK had to do to break out. It was an unbelievable quarter. Like, we're talking 3-4x on revenue and EPS beats to prior year. Like, it was just monstrous what they did, and that's how they could break out the highs in the uptrend. AMD needed to have a moment like that. It just didn't happen, but the chart's still fine. Like, look at this. Anybody owns AMD, are you really crying about it unless you bought it a week ago at the highs?
I mean, this stock dropped $8 at open. We only just, we just, like, you're back to 234 right now. You're only down a couple percentage points right here. I don't think it's that bad. I bet you SMCI comes out at 430 here and wants to do something. So let's, I don't know if we want to stay for that, but SMCI right here, looking lower, you know, due to this AMD pull, but I'm excited to see actually what they wind up doing here. There's Nvidia bouncing as well off 179, so that's catching a little bit there. The take two number was an actual really good number as well. Take two goes out tonight at 208 and it's up to 220 right there on a nice little play there as well. And I bet you SNDK and the likes of them have probably bounced as well. Yeah, back from 685 back to 694 Micron as well with a little upside. And just because I can't, if I'm in front of a screen, I have to keep basically looking. Silver right now up 7% and trying to go higher now as well as silver back upside. And then the other report that we had today was Amgen and 342. So Amgen kind of going where it went out at. So not much going on there for Amgen. And then one more play, and then we'll throw it back to the desk and we can decide about this SMCI. But Chipotle does also find a bid down there near $34. So that's just a run through of those four names that we actually have reports on there today. And we'll wait to see on this SMCI, potentially a couple minutes away.
Maybe we'll see. We'll hang out for, about 1 minute to go here. In the meantime, some casino action here. MDLZ. Out here, downside for Mondelez. The organic net revenue growth, the problem here, comes in exactly flat versus plus 2% estimate. 2 to 2.7% was the estimate. So Mondelez to the downside. For anyone who cares, Match also reported they were initially higher, coming back in a hurry here. It was the guidance for MTCH that was a problem, pointing to quote-unquote AI investments. I have no idea what that means, but MTCH coming back in.
I just have another AI headline here. At the Cisco AI Summit, where we know Lip Bhutan was making comments earlier, AWS CEO Matt Garman saying that apparently they're, quote, pretty far from what's needed for space-based data centers, and I think he means just in general. So Elon Musk might not love those comments from Matt Garman, but he is making them. Also with Mondelez, did you mean like it was like a lottery like move, or like what, like in terms of the move? Because I know Mondelez does like the food, right? Anyways, I was curious about that. But I want to quickly talk as well here, because I didn't get to mention this too much, about PayPal. The Alex Chris era is over. The man who shocked the world is now gone. And so I made this infographic because I was curious. And I think the overwhelmingly what you can see here is revenue is basically flat under his tenure, which is kind of crazy when you're at a company for, it's like multiple quarters here, 2 years. We didn't get any double-digit revenue growth ever on PYPL during his entire tenure. So it's kind of a sad look. It's less of a Pat Gelsinger complete wealth destruction story and more of a you just didn't do anything for 2 years story. But either way, this is the lament of Alex Chris at PYPL. And if you're curious, I will drop this in the chat so you guys can all see.
And here, appreciate the kind words. Great show again today, guys, even if SMCI was a no-show. This is how we roll. We're going to be here regardless. I'll never forget when we waited around for Meta that was unbelievably late. For the record, when Meta was late, they still reported, and if memory serves, it was worth the wait. We'll see. Remains to be seen with SMCI whether we'll actually be worth the wait. After AMD, I'm not sure that's going to end up being true, but it has been a fun one.
I haven't seen it.
Regardless,
4:30.
At the end of the day, it's 4:30. We haven't seen the numbers, unfortunately. But this wouldn't be the first time that we don't see SMCI when we expect to. So there's a precedence for this for them.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get it. So
It's clearly not in a hurry.
maybe they've got Jack Ma and they can't find Jack Ma now. I mean, there was a time where Alibaba couldn't find Jack Ma. So
Maybe they were waiting for AMD to go first. And then
you first. You jump first.
Maybe we should wait until another day.
Yeah, let's let the bigger, more impressive stock go first, so that we have to follow them. That's what you always want to do.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that guy climb that Taipei 101? Like, that was insane. You should watch that. My heart is like racing watching that guy.
I turned it off.
I don't. That was in.
I was doing it before bed.
I'm like, you have kids, man. But okay, AMD just collapsing a little bit on itself right here again.
Not like that.
There. So AMD right back to lows one more time. Went up to 234. That might be the top. Nice fall back in there for AMD. 229.50, as you can see, a live level 2. And by the way, thank you for joining us for this report. I want to ask everybody in the chat, you're never going to see anywhere else. Live level 2s here on earnings, and we can show you the size, the volume, the moves, everything like that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. We're back tomorrow. We're back every single major earnings day, and this week, 4 days, right? Like we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and if Brendan says so, even Friday.
Google tomorrow, Amazon Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah, Snapchat, and of course, don't forget about Snapchat.
And those are both nice and early.
Don't ever forget about.
Yeah, everyone
Snapchat.
cares a lot
How
about.
dare you forget about Snapchat, Brendan?
What am I thinking?
All right.
Just think another. AMD got 390 million Q4 sales from China on MI 308 AI chip.
China.
So we'll keep an eye out. But guys, we're not getting SMCI. So let's call it a day. It's been a great one. AMD earnings call 5 p.m. SMCI earnings call. Who the hell knows? We'll talk about it, I'm sure, in the morning if they have reported.
I would
If
just
they
go to
have
their
not,
website.
we'll sit around and wait for it. Until then, 8 a.m. tomorrow. Come back, join us then. We'll see you. Ciao.